Okay. Should be actually live right now. Oh, working. Hello, y'all. Hi, wow, you are first, Shiva. That is correct. Oh, 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 definite oh. So, hopefully it starts today. I am really bothered by the way Streamlabs has changed. Another reason to switch over to OBS, but the sound bar is very laggy looking. I don't know why. Because Streamlabs itself is not very laggy, it's just that. I don't know why it acts that way now. Anyway, I thought that I would react to some videos about D&D. I wait for this session to start. Fate of the Ancients, it's called. Thought it'd be nice to see what these people have to say about succubi. Even left a comment saying I wish you could play a succubus without homebrew.
These guys will love you to death. These guys will love you to death.
Why a
Masters
log?
Here, and happy Valentine's Day. Before you rip open that box of chocolate or give yourself some love because no one else will,
Well,
let's
that's a
dive
bird.
deep into the perfect love triangle for your next Valentine's Day one-shot adventure. I'm talking, of course, about you, an incubus, and a succubus. And today I'm going to go in deep as to what these fiends are and how you might can use them in your campaign to tempt your players. The incubus is male in appearance, whereas the succubus is female in appearance. But don't let those appearances fool you, and I'll explain that in a moment. Both
Oh, really?
inhabit the lower planes and are usually found in the service of demons, devils, night hags, and Asmodeus, the ruler of the nine hells. He will use these fiends to tempt mere mortals into performing evil acts. Now, a moment ago, I said not to let their appearances fool you. Get this. Any succubus can become an incubus, and any incubus can become a succubus.
Really? I didn't know this about D&D lore. Incubi can become succubi, and succubi can become incubi. Nice. Gender fluid creatures, I see. Didn't know that. Where is that in the lore books? All of our roommates. All of our roommate, you mean? Julia met her online. Through a website called 4chan4. Or not a website, it's a subreddit on, Reddit called 4chan4. That's how Julia met Olive. So, 4chan4 is a less extreme, I guess. I don't know if you could say it's extreme in a different way. The culture is a bit different besides sharing the same meaning, but hey Magnum. So Julia met Olive on 4chan4 on Reddit. And 4chan4 is just the Reddit place for people who go to 4chan's LGBT board, also known as TTTT. Oh, nice. And so they started DMing each other and got closer together and became closer as friends, and eventually Julia invited Olive to come live with us as a roommate since Olive needed a place to stay and wasn't in a great living situation before. So Julia was like, well, we need another roommate. Would you like to come roommate with us? And so then that just is kind of how it occurred. DMs on Reddit, basically. And then later Discord. Hey. Hey, headpats. So, I'm really curious about this lore. Is it true that incubi can become succubi and succubi can become incubi? Wonder how I would work that into a role play.
Although they may have one form that they prefer over the other. And we'll talk a little bit more about this once we examine their stat block. But regardless of the form one may take, it's guaranteed that it will be a form that its target will find to be the most appealing. Perhaps it'll be the person of their dreams, or perhaps they will appear as someone with outstanding wealth and power. All of this is an attempt to seduce their target in order to have that mortal bequeath their soul over. But herein lies the real trick. The succubi or incubi will not draw up a contract for that soul. Instead, they will depend upon 3 betrayals: a betrayal of thought, betrayal of word, and a betrayal of deed. And that's all it takes for the person's soul to belong to that fiend. And once in possession of the soul, the succubus or incubus will then slay their intended, thus sending the tainted soul into the lower planes. Before we jump into the incubus and succubus stat block, I first want to thank these fiendish supporters. Their contributions to this channel have been beyond gracious, and I cannot thank them enough. If you would like to contribute by becoming a Patreon or YouTube member, I'll leave a link down in the description, and of course I'll add your
taste of the individual. As a character I'm playing, I didn't see her as being either able, or if she was able to, I don't think she would be willing to change her form. Unless it was just to appear less like a succubus. But I don't know. Obviously, a lot of this stuff applies to them being evil, like, trying to get souls for Beator. But that's not how I would imagine my character, because I want to play a fiend who's morally good. That is like my thing. I like the idea of playing a fiend who is morally good.
name to this ever-growing list of supporters. With any succubus able to become an incubus, and vice versa, the actual stat block and abilities are the same. They are a shape-changing medium fiend of neutral evil alignment. They have an armor class of 16, 12d8 plus 12 hit points, have a flying speed of 30 feet, and have a strength of 8, a dexterity of 17. Their constitution is 13, intelligence is 15, wisdom is 12, and their charisma is a whopping 20.
Yes, and this game that's coming up, my DM created a homebrew Cambion race. So my character is technically a Cambion. A Cambion succubus in the way I'm role-playing her. Mythos. What is Mythos? Is that like a D&D related website?
They have damage resistance to cold, fire, lightning, poison, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons. They have a challenge rating of 4, which to me seems a bit low considering the cunning of their abilities and actions. They have an ability called Telepathic Bond, and we'll return that to that moment, and we'll return to Telepathic Bond in just a second. They can shape change, and that's polymorph into a small or medium humanoid. However, should they morph into something without wings, they do lose their flying speed. For actions, they can attack with their claws, dealing 1d6 plus 3 melee slashing damage, but only while in fiend form. They can charm a humanoid, and a moment ago I mentioned that they have an ability called Telepathic Bond. This allows them to ignore the range restriction on its telepathy when communicating with a creature that it has charmed. Should a humanoid be targeted with charm, it must succeed on a DC 15 wisdom save, else it is charmed for 1 day. The incubus and succubus also have an action called Draining Kiss. The fiend can kiss a creature it has charmed or a willing creature, and that target must make a DC 15 Constitution save, else it will take 5d10 plus 5 psychic damage. Lastly, they have an action called Etherealness, in which they can enter the ethereal plane from the material plane, or enter the material plane from the ethereal plane. In essence, these are some fiends that you simply don't want to fall in love with. They may appear handsome or pretty, but do what you can to make those saves, for the last thing you want is for your character's soul to descend into the lower planes without hope of return. These guys can be found on page 349 of the Monster Manual should you want to look up more, but I've tried to do my best to cover them here in depth. Oh, and one last thing. A succubi and an incubi can reproduce with one another, begetting another of their own kind. However, should they form an unholy union with a humanoid, the offspring is known as a cambion, and that child is generally wicked and fiendish, as they were born to be bad. But this video is about the love that the incubus and succubus can offer up, not about the responsibility that follows. Players, what would be a telltale sign that your DM has just tossed one of these into the playing field?
Hi,
Trini. Have you been pitted up against one in the past? How did you survive the encounter? Or did you survive the encounter? Or would you just simply pitch a tent and try to hide inside until that fiend went away? DMs, how likely are you to have an incubus or succubus pop up in your next session? These guys don't get enough love, so I hope my sharing them with you helps give them some attention that they probably deserve. Everyone, I've asked a few questions, I've tossed out a few ideas, but talk to me down in the comments. How likely is it that you'd play with either a succubus or an incubus if given the chance? Or both? Again, tell me down in the comments, and until next our paths cross, may you have, on this grand Valentine's Day, all the love that we know you deserve.
Hey, Shiva? If I click that link on stream, will I potentially get banned? Does it have, like, porn on it or anything? Obviously, I'm concerned about what content might be there, considering it's about succubi. Is it safe to click that on stream? Yeah, happy Pride Month, everyone. But I don't have any pride. I am filled with self-loathing. Alright, well, I clicked it anyway. Hopefully I don't get banned. I got impatient because you didn't respond quickly. I was like, I don't want to wait any longer. I have no patience. Okay, thanks. Good to know. It enters the dreams. I don't like the fact that it's about dreams. That's an facet of, like, succubus lore that I've never been nuts about. I think that doing IRL stuff would be more interesting. This is a cool picture. That's a handsome incubus, that's for sure. He's a handsome incubus. It's a demon that enters the dreams of a woman and engages in sexual activity in order to have a child. It is classified as a male. Okay, but where's the succubus part? Oh, well, I'll read the incubus part first. Yay, high pass, thank you. Who engage in sexual activity. Well, are you telling me there aren't any homosexual demons? No homosexual demons, huh? Like the succubi, the incubi wore out their partners with constant sex. Oh my. So basically, they like to do a lot of fucking. They like to do a lot of it. Hi, Nekotsune. I mean, just because this wiki says there isn't doesn't mean there wasn't. I like the fact that this is saying incubi wore out their partners with constant sex. Amazing. Don't go to the succubus page. Why? Because there's a pair of titties over there. I still can't believe that those double standards between them. The incubus is just as beautiful and desired as his female counterpart, the succubus. The origin of the sex demon takes place in Mesopotamia. Now that's pre-Christian sounding. Where the first incubus, Lilu, existed. The Lilu is a male counterpart of Lilith. Well, Lilith is biblical. Lilith, well, not like biblical. She's not mentioned in the Bible. Lilith was supposed to be the first partner of Adam, and so she wanted to be treated as an equal and not be dominated by Adam and treated as an inferior. So she was turned into a demon for her audacity not to be seen as inferior and submissive. Is I believe the story of that. It's like Lilith, the one who refused to be inferior to men, is essentially why she was condemned to being a demon. I think that the message of that story was that, it's really demonic if you believe in gender equality. Lilu, the counterpart of Lilith, was the only other one who matched her sexual appetite and vengeance on the children of Adam and Eve for the sin of betrayal. For some reason, the Lilith is not in the book of Genesis. Why did the story of Lilith never enter the book of Genesis? I wonder. Like, what is the first book or story or whatever that describes Lilith, since she's not mentioned in the book of Genesis? So she was made from dust. Now that I didn't remember. Instead of Adam's rib, huh? Are they milk-filled tits? I don't know. Let's see, Shiva, looks like Shiva's copied and pasted stuff from this. Succubi are beautiful and desirable women, unlike their male counterparts. But it was even just saying here that the male counterparts are also attractive, so that's weird. That's weird. From the succubus page, which is weird because it directly contradicts the incubus page. Though succubi do sometimes have bat-like wings or demonic features such as horns, tail, hooves, and fangs. In medieval lore, succubi appeared to men in the night and seduced them into sexual encounters. Celibate monks seem to be especially prone to such attacks, often blaming succubi for their lustful thoughts and sexual dreams. Succubi could suck the life force of men, leaving them exhausted. What else does it say? Half-orc Rouge? You mean rogue, right? The angry carpenter. No, I don't. I'm not familiar with that. I mean, I'll come to reading more of this in a bit. I'm gonna read this for now, or watch this for now. That article will still be there later. What a weird name, the Mighty Glue Stick. Why is that? I don't understand what that's a reference to.
Greetings and salutations, people of the YouTube. It is I, AJ of the Mighty Ballistic. How's it going? Okay, so we return to the Nine Hells for this and the next video update. And today we're going to be covering the Succubus, the Incubus, the Hell of Meliodomoni, which is the seventh of the Hells, and also its leader, its ruler, Baalzebub. And yeah, he's a nasty one. Lord of the Flies. But first, let's cover the
Mal'Sheem?
So the Succubus
Not familiar with Mal'Sheem. I guess that's... I've never heard it described as Mal'Sheem, the lowest level of the 7 hells. Or the 9 hells. What was the 7? The last one has the Asmodeus.
Not technically devils. They are a fiendish race, though. So their origin is shrouded in the epic amounts of time that they've been around. They're neutral evil, so they are self-serving. And of course, they crave power and comfort and rulership. They wish to be powerful in and of themselves. So they're not beholden to the rules of
okay, sorry. Here, I'll listen to this via my headset. Hopefully this will work. And is it on? Should be on. What's going on? Oh, okay, there we go. Turning this down so we can hear it together.
Therefore, they can lie, they can break deals, and act as mercenaries. So this makes them very good agents of the Nine Hells, where demon lords are devil lords as long as they know that they have something over or something to offer the succubus or incubus. They will do what they want. So the succubus and the incubus, first of all, is one thing. They are listed as different genders. So their name relates to their gender, but in actual fact they are natural shape changers who are essentially genderless. They can assume the form of a male or a female as they wish, and they may be orientated one way or the other as a personal preference. But they are quite capable of changing their gender whenever they wish, just like they are capable of changing their form. So they've got an natural armor class of 15, 66 hit points.
I wonder where this comes from. That's 2 videos saying this so far. I'm not sure I like this. I like the barbarous conception of a succubus more so than the Dungeons and Dragons conception of a succubus. This is another place in which I personally like the Sword World interpretation more.
They have a walking speed of 30 feet and are capable, when they reveal their wings, of flying at 60 feet. However, normally they wouldn't reveal their wings, and it would be unusual in your campaign that they actually revealed as a fiendish full succubus in their full guise, unless it serves their purpose or they have no interest in maintaining a ruse as a different shape. And of course, they will reveal themselves to a target for their own pleasure. Say they wish to shock them, or point out that resistance is futile and they're dealing with something beyond their control.
I have no idea if you can kill ghosts. I don't know how ghosts work in Dungeons and Dragons, actually. Maybe I should watch videos about that. Thing is, this is 2 people saying that succubi and incubi are just shapeshifters and we're basically genderless or gender fluid. So I don't know how to deal with this for role playing in the future. At all. Again, I prefer the Sword World concept.
They have a weak strength of 8. They've got a high dexterity of 17, constitution above average of 13, and their mental attributes are very high. Intelligence of 15, wisdom of 12, and a charisma a whopping 20, as you would expect as fiendish charmers. So they're very clever and quite wise. So they are a cunning opponent that does not want to throw its life away. They've got a deception of +9, insight +5, perception +5, persuasion +9, and stealth +7. Damage resistance as a fiendish race. They've resistance to cold, fire, lightning, poison, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons. So they're not immune to non-magical weapons. And silver has no undue effect on them. Dark vision out to 60 foot. Passive perception is listed as 15. They speak abyssal, common, infernal, and they have telepathy, which allows them to communicate with pretty much anyone. They're listed as a challenge rating 4. They have a telepathic bond, so the fiend ignores the range restrictor on its telepathy when communicating with a creature it has charmed. The two don't even need to be on the same plane of existence, so this is an extremely strong bond that is unusual for any other race other than the succubus or the incubus. So this is a talent that they have, which you really should pay attention to and build your plots around, because it's a unique thing that these things have. Almost no other creature is able to communicate telepathically across planar boundaries or maintain a charm effect across planar boundaries. It's very powerful. As I said, they're natural shape changes, and they can use the polymorph into a small or medium humanoid or back into its true form without wings. The fiend loses its ability to fly, and other than its size and speed, its statistics remain the same in each form. So even though it may look like a muscular, hulking brute, the strength is never higher than 8. And they will move with surprising dexterity of 17. So they're capable of looking very incapable of a physical fight, but capable of unleashing a devastating and agile blow with some sort of fencing weapon. Any equipment that they're wearing or carrying isn't transformed, it's strictly physical, and it reverts back to its true form if it dies. So that's normally how you would reveal the true form of a succubus. They have in their natural form a claw attack, which is quite feeble, +5 to hit, and does 6 points of slashing damage. Their most potent abilities are their charm. So one humanoid the fiend can see within 30 feet of it must succeed on a DC 15 wisdom saving throw or be magically charmed for an entire day. The charmed target obeys the fiend's verbal or telepathic commands, so it doesn't need to be actually issuing commands, and it can stealthily move in a charmed creature and direct it telepathically without anybody being the wiser. And the target suffers, if it suffers any harm or receives a suicide.
But since succubi live a long time, wouldn't like a younger succubus who's had less experience points be weaker? And couldn't you write a very strong succubus or an especially weak succubus monster for your party to fight? I assume that's a normal thing. I'm guessing this is just the default. Exactly, you need a dark... This existence is for sure Pokemon. If it's not using Pokemon rules, it's wrong. If it's not using Pokemon rules, it's wrong.
Command, it can repeat the saving throw until the effect, ending the effect on a successful saving throw. If the target saves against the effect, or if the effect ends, or the target is broken out of it by some means, it's immune to the charm effect for the next 24 hours. And the succubus or incubus can only have one charmed target at a time.
Who did this piece of art? He's beautiful. I like this guy. I know nothing about this guy, but I like him already. He's beautiful. He's got that Final Fantasy antagonist look to him. It's Mr. Bishi over here.
So if it concentrates on another and charms them instead, the original charmed sap will regain their senses. They have a draining kiss, which they are famed for. The kiss of a that they plant on a charmed creature or by a willing creature. They don't even have to charm them magically. They can just seduce them into it. Must make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw against this magic or take 32 psychic damage on a failed
that's
save,
a
or half as much
lewd
damage on a
picture.
successful one. The target's hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the damage taken. This damage reduction lasts until the target finishes a long rest, and the target dies if this effect reduces its hit point maximum to 0.
That's a disturbing
So this is one of the
picture.
potentially lethal attacks that can be unleashed on a
And
player
that
character in
one's
the game.
disgusting.
And, yeah, it can be very nasty. You get
Ugh,
material planes
I don't
or
want to see that
vice
picture anymore. That was gross. That was disgusting. I did not like that picture.
versa as a movement action, so they can drift in and out of reality into the dreamy realm of the ethereal border plane at will. Now, where do they live? So mostly you will find them at home in Melidomini, which is the plane of hell that we're going to be talking about right now, the layer of hell. So I've got a great description here of it. A great marble boulevard lined with grotesque statues known as the Road of Perdition leads from Malbolge to Melidomini, the seventh hell. This layer consists of dozens of vast tunnels that meet and diverge in a maze stretching for hundreds of miles. Melidomini is one of the largest of the hells, and its branching passages link all the lower hells together. In various spots, its tunnels reach Malbolge, Cania, and even Nessus. The tunnels of Melidomini average 3 to 5 miles wide, with a ceiling 1,000 feet or more above. And each tunnel is a long, curving cavern featuring ancient strongholds, crumbling cities, and ruined palaces that climb the tunnel's steep sides everywhere.
It's like a
Rivers of
desert
filth
city.
and sludge wind through the center of each tunnel, and swarms of biting flies plague all who
Ew.
venture through
Ew.
this polluted ruin. Ruin upon ruin upon ruin. So it's like a medieval industrial wasteland with rusted and rotting stuff everywhere. It's like
Gross.
the whole place has been built over and over and over again, and soiled, squelchy mess is everywhere. It's like they build
Gross.
opulence on top of filth, and the filth eventually just infects everything. So the traditional old view of Melidomini was that it was one of the realms of heaven that after the overthrow, this is what like one of the alternate views of the cosmologies of hell, or the histories of hell, where the seven heavens were where these heavens were taken over by devils who were fallen angels because they killed the god that ruled it, and everything fell into ruin. And Melidomini is kind of the perfect reflection of that, that once opulent halls are now fallen into ruin, and the obsessive archfiend who took over all of this, Baal-Zebul, is obsessively rebuilding and building palaces and moving on to the next one and the next one and the next one. So it's like, nope, I'm sick of this place, let's build another one. And he commands his forces to build an even greater palace atop of the former ruin of another one, and he just smashes and rebuilds. But whatever he touches falls to ruin and vile corruption. So eventually everything is soiled. So yeah, many infernal fiefs or fiefdoms are located in Melidomini, and there's constant bickering and strongholds and quarrels and warfare between the pit fiends and war devils that are located there. And part and parcel of this are the succubi and incubi, who essentially mince around the realm and carve out their own little kingdoms and fiefdoms, and are constantly working against various
Those are some cool
pit fiends.
wings. Those are some cool wings. I can't lie. Those are some really cool wings on that one. Thanks for that, Pats.
As mercenaries and agents of their own right. So they're very much involved in their own affairs, and Melidomini is a realm unto itself, split into all these different factions who are vying for power amongst themselves. And all of this is practice, if you will, for the relatively easy task of manipulating humanoids, mortals, and their kingdoms in the mortal realms, so that they hone their ability to move subtly and sometimes forcefully. So this is where, much like the surface of the Nine Hells is a big battlefield where they stage war games and strategies on a vast scale for the Blood War, Mellodomini is almost like a testing ground where they would constantly be waging intrigue and corruption and temptation and perversion and that sort of
right,
thing.
Perversion,
So,
favorite.
It's nasty. Anyway, so of the many strongholds and quarrelsome pit fiends and war devils and such, the ruler of the lair is the Archdevil Bazibul and the Lord of Fires. And decades ago,
the slug creature reminds me of Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt, is that you? Is that you, Jabba the Hutt?
Asmodeus caught Beelzebul plotting against him, and in punishment, Asmodeus transformed him into a horrible slug-like monstrosity. And he's very unusual amongst the archdevils because he has this utterly inhuman and disgusting form. He's thoroughly beaten, and he now focuses his attention on wriggling back into the good graces of Asmodeus and earning release from his wretched state. And part of his distaste and displeasure with everything is constant physical unpleasantness of disaffecting them to follies and all sorts of stuff, with constant construction going on all around. And in other places, this incongruous ruin and filth and decay everywhere else. So there's two extremes, luxury and squalor, and there's nothing in between. So he really hates Mephistopheles, and he hates pretty much most of the others.
It's still about Succubi.
Archdevils. He's generally one of the bottom of the heap when it comes to the power structure of the Nine Hells. And other archdevils in his entourage include Barbatos, who's a marshal of Mellodomini, and Nibars, the Herald of Lies, who are powerful devil lords in their own right. But we just don't have enough time to go into every small detail of all of these individuals.
This doesn't seem like it's about Succubi anymore.
So...
I'm done with this video. Yeah, indeed. I'm done. Done with this video. Let's see if anyone showed up. Let's learn some about Pelor. That sounds more pleasant. That's loud.
Hello and welcome, my friends and viewers, to this week's episode of Legend Lore, where I draw cool pictures of monsters, races, characters, and classes from D&D 5th edition, while giving a small bit of quickly digestible history about them. Together we'll go over their origins within the game, how they're utilized in the modern edition, and how I like to utilize them in my own games. Today we will be graced by the brilliance of one of D&D's most prominent deities, Pelor. Pelor's first appearance was in 1983 with the World of Greyhawk fantasy game setting for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, or 1st edition. While he would be updated in 2nd edition, he didn't rise to true prominence until 3rd edition, where he became the default sun god of D&D in the player's handbook. He would also make appearances in 3rd edition's Manual of the Planes and Deities and Demigods. With D&D 5th edition, he has since expanded to the Greyhawk, Dawn War, and Exandrian pantheons within D&D's official worlds, and stands as a neutral good deity. In terms of the current edition, he holds the clerical domains of life, light, and nature, and teaches his followers to alleviate suffering, keep vigilant against the manipulative and exploitive natures of evil, and to always show kindness, mercy, and compassion during the dark times.
This is the one I think that makes the most sense for my character Maria to worship. Which is why when I discovered him, I was like, yeah, this is definitely who Maria would look up to. This is definitely the sort of god Maria would look up to. By the way, Maria is envisioned to be a succubus of some form or fashion. Maybe a Cambion succubus, maybe just a succubus, something along those lines. In desperate times, I just have to make her a tiefling. Because there's not a lot of rules for playing fiends out there.
He is also a patron of summer and agriculture, and his holy day is Midsummer's Day, which is more than self-explanatory. The most common appearance that I usually see for Pelor is either a man with long blonde hair and tanned skin garbed in robes, or a man whose head and facial features are completely whited out by the blazing, blinding corona of the sun shining behind his head. This leaves him featureless and truly otherworldly, and it does make him stand out against most other gods, due to the fact that they simply appear in some form of humanoid with strong features, different colored skin, etc., etc. For this reason, I have decided to keep that detail in my depiction of him. Sometimes he is seen wearing gilded golden armor, which may be a newly acquired detail due to his slow transition into a more martial deity. My depiction of Pelor fuses many of his different aspects together, but I don't exactly portray him as a warrior god. I see him more as a god who works to educate others and embolden their wisdom, teaching them how to spot the darkness and avoid its influence, while helping others to see that same truth, even if they don't follow him. His stance as a god of the sun and agriculture leads me to see him more as a nurturer, someone who brightens the path for those who are lost, feeds them when they are hungry, and only saves any form of malice or violence for those who willingly choose the path of true evil. As such, Pelor in my eyes wears a beautiful gilded robe formed of canvas-like material, carrying a staff and a handful of...
I do see my character as pacifistic leaning as well, so that also fits. What a pretty staff. I wish my character had a staff. Are staffs just like for wizards and stuff? Why don't healers have staffs typically in D&D?
seeds that he throws to plant and bloom as he needs. The top of his staff has a dream catcher sort of design of its head as he strides through his orchards and fields of wheat at Elysium. Light clerics to Pelor are very rare in my setting, as Pelor preaches tutelage and education above harsh violence to combat evil. And so they are his few chosen warriors who are dedicated to the destruction of an evil that he deems worthy of the fires of the sun. Nature and life clerics are a lot more common, and occasionally a paladin may swear an oath that matches the core of his teachings. I also found him to be a very good patron for druids to follow, but I tend to leave him out of the selection for celestial warlock patrons or divine soul sorcerers. He doesn't need to have that kind of specific influence in the mortal world. In terms of magical items that I like to use that are aligned with Pelor, there is Ajira's Rod, which belonged to a paladin of the same name, that was capable of removing disease and regenerating lost limbs, and the Dawn Stars, a set of 4 heavenly maces gifted by Pelor to 4 of his solar angels, as a reward after they rescued one of his most devout worshippers from the 9 layers of hell. I've included homebrew item stat blocks for these 2 items in the description below. Pelor stands as the archetypical light god of D&D, an easy pick for good-aligned characters, but also capable of some very in-depth nuance and symbolism in regards to his portfolio. Thank you guys all for watching, and if you want to keep updated on the next Legend lore, please subscribe to the channel, click the little bell icon to be updated, follow me on social media for progress of each art piece as it comes down, and comment down below of your own depictions of Pelor.
I didn't hear too much about his focus on nature. That would be interesting if I wanted to make, like, Maria someone who, like, tends fields as well at some point, or lives in a forest at some point.
Pelor, the Dawn Father, is one of the prime creator gods of Exandria. He is the god of sun and summer, his vigil encircling the ages as the keeper of time. As lord of agriculture, he is worshipped by farmers and most common folks, and his priests are welcome in many lands. Supporter of the needy and destroyer of evil, the Dawn Father is all.
Are there any gods who are similar to Pelor in terms of moral goodness? Just curious. Hey, it's an orc. It's an orc paladin who worships Pelor. I'm glad that there are morally good orcs in D&D now.
And the patron of paladins and rangers who follow a similar creed.
Oh, that's
Pelor
pretty.
wears a white cloak over an intricate golden plate armor. His head, a beacon of light and fire so bright that his face can barely be seen. During the founding, Pelor was one of the prime deities who fought the primordials.
The prime deities. This is one of the prime deities. What about some who focus on kindness? Are there other deities whose focus is on things like kindness and mercy, like Pelor?
Gods to protect the mortals, and it was he who planted the sun tree in Whitestone.
Okay. Hey, Chillin' Chum. What was that, like, video that someone posted way back? I don't know if it's still in the chat, though. Fandom. There's the YouTube video. You know, seek prod. I see. Okay, what we go with here? Is this just music? Oh, it's just music. I'm surprised there's not more videos related to Pelor.
Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today we have got another Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 Prestige class video for you. And today, coming at you
Okay, it's 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock and I should check my, Nope, no one's starting yet. We are late.
Complete Divine. We have got the Radiant Servant of Pelor. Now, the Radiant Servant of Pelor is a very interesting, it's a very interesting prestige class. And we're going to be talking about what they are, like what makes a Radiant Servant of Pelor. We're going to be talking about what it takes to become a Radiant Servant of Pelor. Then
Gengar spotted. Hopefully just until our session gets started. Hopefully just until our session gets started.
We're going to talk about what you get as a Radiant Servant of Pelor. And finally, we're going to be talking about how good it is and how you might use it in a build. So let's get started with it. All right. So first off, Radiant Servant of Pelor. Basically, what is it? Well, it is a prestige class that's all about the devotion to Pelor. You know, Pelor, the god of the sun, the god of healing, very good deity, neutral good. So it's really one that's the servant of Pelor, like their shining star of Pelor. So these guys are going to be ones that focus on really fulfilling his wishes. Because generally Pelor's kind of like whatever, but you know, sometimes, you know, things need to get done, and these are the guys that do it. These are the guys that actually go out and do the things that really need done in the name of Pelor. So
and a Misdreavus as well.
That's really what it comes down to. There's
I love Misdreavus.
Not a whole lot more to it besides that. So let's talk about what it takes to become a Radiant Servant of Pelor. So first off, you need a will of +5. It's not too hard to get, pretty reasonable for a caster. After that, you need 5 ranks of heal, and you need 9 ranks in knowledge religion. It's not too bad. The ranks in heal, it's not really that useful of a skill, but especially when you have magical healing, which you get a lot of from this class. This is actually a very good class for that. So it's a little bit of a waste, but at the same time,
he's really zoomed in on this video.
It's only 5
It's
ranks.
like really zoomed in on him.
Super important. Oh, sorry, and it does have an alignment requirement of neutral good. That can be a bit of a hiccup. If you don't want to play a neutral good character, you have to now. So there is that requirement. Can be a little bit of an issue for other things. Next, requires the feat Extra Turning, which is a pretty good feat, especially if you want to get into like Divine Meta Magic or use the Devotion feats. Can be very useful to have more turn undead attempts, or you can just use it to be better at turning undead, which this class is pretty good at. Finally, there's the spellcasting requirements. You need to be able to cast first level spells, which isn't hard at all, and have access to the Sun domain. So,
is there any other videos about Paler? Being a Radiant Servant of Paler might be nice, though. I'm surprised there's no more content about Paler. That's just how to build them. It's not like telling you lore. I'm gonna read some more of this. The incubus and succubus are actually the same. Well, I mean, that's essentially how it works in Dungeons and Dragons. They swap genders at specific points. For example, they would become succubi whenever they required semen. Oh dang, their life source. So yeah, I should probably use this as influence. Yeah, this is not the first time I've read that seminal fluids are a life source for succubi. I'm gonna have to work that into a role play some way, somehow, without getting too pornographic for Twitch. They would then become incubi and use that semen to impregnate women. Well, really? Many believe that incubi are bisexual, but that would strictly contradict their purpose of impregnation. But some people believe that when an incubi slept with another male, he would absorb his seed and use it as his own. When a human has intercourse with a succubi-incubi over long amounts of time, say a month, they will start feeling a need for more sex with the incubi-succubi or go insane from how much life force they have lost. Sometimes these demons are able to conceive children. When they do, they will obtain supernatural abilities and become extremely persuasive. These human incubi and succubi hybrid is called a cambion. Well, that's what I think that my character is supposed to be in this roleplay that hopefully we're going to get to today. Unless the incubi slept with a succubus, then the succubi would give birth to a new incubi or succubi. I kind of like the way it works with Sword World, and that incubi and succubi can't really reproduce with each other. They have to have sex with humans in order to reproduce and create more succubi and incubi. I liked that one a lot. In Islam and Arabian folklore, the incubus is known as the Hadun. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my I'll go ahead and put this here. Unless the incubus okay. In Islam and Arabian folklore, the incubus is known as the Hadun. Literally the incubator. Usually in battle. And caboose. The caboose. Colloquial for bad dreams. Kalabi is anglicized as Kalabia. Hi, Nixie. So they're considered Jean. I'd like to know more about Jean. Yeah, I can write it off as traditional art. The succubi are beautiful and desirable women, unlike their male counterparts, the incubi. You see, this contradicts. This contradicts the incubi one. Those succubi do sometimes have bat-like wings. Let's see. So I've already read that part. Lilith has many origins. In both Islamic and Jewish myths, however, she is a succubus, a demon woman who hunts men, seduces them, and drains their life with a kiss. Jewish mothers believe Lilith would come to take their children away and eat them. Okay, well, what is the origin of Lilith then? Then, according to Jewish folklore, the Lilin are the daughters of Lilith and Adam, engendered while she was his wife. They are demons, with the function being that of a succubus. Men and also mothers feared the attack of the Lilith because they were said to kidnap children like Lilith. An ogress, huh? Mara. There's a Mara in, when I see Mara, I think of, like, Mara in, Shin Megami Tensei. Let's see. Any updates? Let me do a beer back screen. The Ed Greenwood videos? No, I haven't yet. I could watch some of them. I watched 2 videos about succubi. One of them I stopped watching because it got gruesome and because it was off topic as well. And I also was watching some videos about Palor, but there wasn't a lot available on YouTube. Yeah, and the appearance of the Life Cleric videos appears not to be about lore, but about, like, how to write your character sheet. I will be right back. I need to use the bathroom. not your food time yet, Mark. Mark, you're not eating right now. Okay, I'm back. Any news about the game and when it might be starting? Yeah, oh, so okay, it's okay. I can search Ed Greenwood. Let's see if there's any other videos about this. If not, I'll read about Ed Greenwood. Or watch the Ed Greenwood videos. Mm-hmm. Send this to your player if they seduce a dragon. I see. It's okay. Seducing a dragon is worth pissing off the dungeon master. Alright, let's see what's available here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Don't mind me, I'm just having a sap. Oopsie. Really? So which one of these is a good video to watch, Eddie? Or,
Miss Tranner, is this fabled city of song. The problem is that things keep happening to it.
There's
Hi,
videos.
this is Ryan of Many Realms, and on this episode of Realms Lore, we're talking all about Mythdraenor, or as I said, Mythdraenor, when I was pitching this idea to Ed. Mr. Greenwood, ever gracious, reminded me that it's probably pronounced that way somewhere in the realms, right? So go ahead and keep that one in your back pocket next time you can't remember how to pronounce something. Mythdraenor, also known as Cormanthor, or the City of Bards, the City of Beauty, the City of Brotherhood, the City of Crowns, the City of Love, the City of Might, the City of Song, the City of Spells. Let's just say it has a lot of names, okay? Known by many as a popular adventuring site where you can go and search for long hidden treasure, all while fending off demons and fiends and devils.
Ugh.
I don't want to spoil too much because Ed has so much incredible stuff to say about it. But before we jump into it, I would also like to remind you to go to patreon.com/EdGreenwood, where you can find the extended version of this conversation, as well as all of our other conversations, usually clocking in at like twice as long, as well as weekly Realms Lore drops, polls,
A beautiful soaring city of the elves in the middle of Cormanthor.
Ooh, I love
Elven
elves.
Court, as many humans call that woods today, which is sort of east of Shadowdale and Mistledale, in the middle of the forest. And in the past, this particular city was unusual in that the elves who lived there invited in all of the sentient races who were inclined to get along with others. So not orcs, not drow, but elves, dwarves, gnomes, halflings, etc. And they could all live together in Mythdraenor. They could all trade together in Mythdraenor. And not all
Sounds like it
elves
was
were
a nice
happy about
place.
this. And so there were some arch conservatives amongst them, like the Starim noble family of elves, who appear in Elminster and Mythdraenor, because the sequel to Elminster, The Making of a Mage, is Elminster and Mythdraenor. He literally walks out of the end of one book and into the next. That's the only two novels in the early Elminster books that there's no time break between them. It's bing bing. And Elminster comes into Mythdraenor and is not welcomed by many of the elves who regard him as an upstart. And the Coronal Eltergrim, who is the ruler of Mythdraenor at the time, is facing some pushback from a lot of the more conservative elves about letting in idiots, upstarts, a non-people.
Yeah.
You know, it's good old racism is rearing its head, but it's elves against humans. And Elminster is your viewpoint character. You're looking
Good
over
old
his shoulder,
fantasy
and
racism.
his magic abilities.
He's got
are
a piece of
recognized
toilet
by the
paper on
Srinshi,
his
who is
on his
really
printer.
Powerful. And he becomes her student. And, you know, the Srinshi is not stupid. The Srinshi can smell Mystra all over Elminster. But we get to see the qualities of the elves bickering over this, and they are very human qualities. And that was my point, that elves exhibited the same arrogance, decadence, privilege, that
Decadence,
many
huh?
humans did. And that
Interesting
these were
word to
universal
use.
qualities, not necessarily human qualities. And that was one of the things I wanted to explore, what it was really like to be another race in a setting that had other
I
races,
love chocolate. It's very
as opposed
decadent.
to what we used to call when I was a kid a Star Trek alien. Meaning, you took an actor, you had no budget. This is in early days when they didn't have computer-generated graphics. The special effects were all makeup. So what you did was stick weird ears on a human actor, dye their skin some weird color,
Yeah.
and tell them to do something unusual, like touch their nose every 5 seconds, or go meep, meep, meep in between each sentence, or whatever. And that was your alien. And because of the constraints of a short television episode, you didn't have time to generate their story, and culture unless it was germane to the plot of the episode. Like we all go into sleep, or we have
Why are we
children
talking
by
about
budding,
Star
or
Trek
whatever
right
it is.
now?
So it was up to the fans and novelizations and so on to develop the lore. Well, I was trying to do the same thing for the realms, bring us past. They're humans, but they look funny. Humans with funny ears. Into no, they are different, and in these ways. And of course, for elves, the main way is they play the long game. Human lifetimes are short to them, and humans are very hasty, to borrow Treebeard, the ants, vocabulary from
Oh,
Lord of the
dang,
Rings.
we're getting Tolkien in here.
All these people do things very quickly, rashly, without care for the consequences. They don't take time to do anything properly. They just do it. And of course, from the point of view of any of those other races,
I
don't
like
have
the
time to
Tolkien
do anything else.
reference.
We've only got our 80 years and 10 if we're lucky. And most of us in a fantasy novel aren't that lucky because we get killed by somebody with a sword or a tentacle in chapter 3. So Myth Drannor was this wonderful crossroads city where people could cross-pollinate and be cultured. And of course, even some of the conservative elves were thinking, good. I mean, I don't like this policy, but being as we have this policy, it allows us to get things from the far corners of the world more easily without going there ourselves. We can get all of these weird, funny people we're letting in to bring the stuff with them, and we'll buy it from them. Number one. And number two, it's a chance for our culture, the right way to do things, the civilized way to do things, to rub off on all these unwashed visitors who aren't
These unwashed, filthy humans.
So maybe they will grow up and learn to behave and all this. See, I'm lampooning.
They should just take it all over, manifest destiny.
Looking at
manifest destiny.
Looked at around
elves
the
shall
action
rule
of the
all.
novel. So that's what I was doing. So Myth Drannor is this fabled city of song. The problem is that things keep happening to it. And for most of the 1300s, Dale reckoning, in the Forgotten Realms, in other words, the Forgotten Realms as you saw it in 2nd, 3rd edition, 3.5, Myth Drannor was a ruin. And it was a ruin that was very dangerous to explore. I mean, it was a fabled ruin. Everybody knew, in quotation marks, there were elven treasures everywhere. Not just gold and gems, but magic galore. But if you went there, you died. And you can see that Myth Drannor in Spellfire. You can see my novel, Spellfire, not the card game Spellfire, which Jim Ward took the name of my novel and said, that's a really cool name. We're going to have to use it for something better than a novel. So, yeah. Don't worry. The early TSR had a history of reusing names. Oh, boy. So there are quite often products that get confused with other products, like Lords of Darkness, because you reuse the title. Anyway, leaving that aside, another Ed's digression, but you also saw it in the box set, Ruins of Myth Drannor. And the whole point of this was, it was not safe to go there because many gates had opened, so that what you actually saw, although it got truncated severely in the editing, because my novel Spellfire was originally 3 times as long, and it got cut by 2/3, which is why dark horrors vanished out of the text, darkened beasts as they became. Anyway, again, leaving aside that digression, what it meant was there were gates to both the abyss, where demons come from, and the 9 hells, where devils come from, all over the city of Myth Drannor.
So basically it became a
If
battleground.
you went there as an adventurer, you probably got killed and eaten or torn apart or whatever by a demon or a devil. And if you fought that demon or devil, it promptly summoned others through the gate. And you were fighting more of them. And so what it really was a, can I run fast enough to escape with my life? Which is why Myth Drannor still had all of its stuff, all of its treasure. Nobody got any of it. And then, of course, the whole point of the Knights of Mythdraenor and all of that going on, and some of the gates being closed, is that once word gets around about that, and the demons and devils that are left are on their own, you still have to fight them, but they can't summon legions of their chums, then it becomes a gold rush for adventurers. Hey, let's go to the city of Mythdraenor. We're going to be rich beyond the dreams of avarice. How'd you like to be a king? We'll buy our own kingdom. And so they all went rushing in there. And then they were fighting each other and slaughtering each other. And then finally Sembia wants to move in because there's not a thing. And Hillsfar wants to move in.
This video?
And the Centurion want to get it. So again, it's a gold
25 minutes.
But
I'm going to go check the Discord. And part of our game is most important. I hope so too. Nope, still no response from our dungeon master. That sucks. It's a small diversion. I think I'm gonna watch some videos about Dungeons, Dragons, Far Realm. These are some interesting videos. I learn about the Cthulhu-esque entities. There's at least there's at least 2 realms full of Cthulhu-esque entities in D&D.
Hey, Pippi?
This being one of them.
Pippi, where are we?
It's a Hamtaro hamster!
Pippi, get the book.
What is that episode? That's a little loud. Remember to be quiet, videos.
The Far Realms, a place outside the multiverse, beyond existence, beyond time.
Ooh, I do need to watch that video about what's it called? I would like to read about Arcadia and Mount Celestia, actually. I'm still sure that I'm gonna like Elysium more, but let's see here the crazy lawful good realm. Isgard, Arborea. Arborea, I believe, is the one that's Hellenistic, and this is the Norse one.
Far Realms, a place outside the multiverse, beyond existence, beyond time, and beyond space. An unknowable place where titanic beasts shape and change.
I know, Nixie, very classy decor.
A place where aberrations call home, and the ones you know, the Beholder, Mindflayer, and Aboleth, are ants.
Okay, what was that?
To the material.
What was that orb with like red liquid coming out of it?
Call home.
Is that from an official book? What is that red? What is that gray orb with red coming out of it? That is indeed otherworldly. It's curious what that thing is.
And the ones you know, the Beholder, Mindflayer, and Aboleth, are ants. They're able to seep through to the material plane. Welcome to the Far Realm, a Lovecraftian plane of existence that came along relatively late in the D&D cosmology, first appearing in the 1996 2e adventure The Gates of Firestorm Peak by Bruce Cordell. In this adventure, Elder Elves create a portal to explore new worlds, using a comet called Dragon's Tear. They connect directly.
Yeah, I guess it's relatively normal to have toilet paper to blow your nose. I've done that before when I ran out of tissue paper. I've done a similar thing.
With an alternate reality. Unfortunately for them, they connected to the Far Realm, and their empire would soon disappear in a bloody horror as aberrations seemingly annihilated them. And thus, the Far Realm was born, where creatures like the Mind Flayer were retroactively said to be from there, or at least created by the influences of the Far Realm. And when the Far Realm seeps into the world, or the prime material plane, things start to get weird. The land changes, matter warps, and beings become terrible monstrosities. Eyes and tentacles may suddenly sprout, or cancerous growths may transform a person into a nearly unrecognizable visage of their former self, and an aberration is born. So, what exactly is the Far Realm? Well, this is a place beyond the other planes, where even the astral sea ends. Time doesn't exist here. Though events can pass from A to B, matter is morphic and reality is amoebic. There is no law or chaos, nor good or evil. Minds that peer into the Far Realm do not do so unscathed, as it is impossible for a mortal mind to comprehend what is seen. And unlike the rest of the cosmology, that typically consists of a single plane,
Edwin.
Into the far, though events can pass from A to B, matter is morphic and reality is amoebic. There is no law or chaos, nor good or evil. Minds that peer into the Far Realm do not do so unscathed.
Edwin.
As it is impossible for the mortal mind to comprehend what is seen. And unlike the rest of the cosmology, that typically consists of a single plane, such as the plane of fire or the plane of shadow, the Far Realm consists of smaller planes that exist upon smaller planes. It's described as akin to sheets of parchment placed upon one another. Some may be as small as a demiplane, while others
What
can be
book
large
is this
as the
from?
prime. These planes are infinitely warped and constantly changed by the titanic and unknowable creatures that reside.
And here we got our eldritch horror creature with lots of tentacles, because if there's anything that people got out of Lovecraft, it's godlike beings with tentacles.
Right there. These entities are so alien and so illogical that reality warps around them. They create lethal contradictions and toxic natural laws that emerge and disappear on a whim. Some of these entities are so large they exist in multiple planes at once or approach the power of deities. Clear as mud? Great! Because knowing the unknowable would kind of defeat the point, and this is obviously the space in D&D for Cthulhu and eldritch horrors from Lovecraftian fiction. The intrigue of the Far Realm is how it could affect your campaign world. And how could it do so? Well, let's talk about a few ways, and the first few might already be in your game. How about the subclasses your players choose? The Far Realm is specifically mentioned in the Aberrant Mind and Wild Magic Sorcerer subclasses, where the reason a character has those powers is from contact with the Far Realm. And psionic powers have a lot of links with the Far Realm, so you may include the Soul Knife Rogue or Psi Warrior Fighter in subclasses that have links with the Far Realm. And the Far...
I don't want to become an eldritch horror. Someone had to say it. Oh god. This person looks like one of those black mages from Final Fantasy. Like one of those black mages. I bet that's the inspiration. They look like a black mage. I want to become an eldritch horror, but psionic powers are pretty cool. Thing is, what's the big difference between psionic powers and magic anyway? Are psychic powers and magic really that different? I feel like a different word for the same thing. I mean, I wouldn't mind being a psionic healer.
Far Realm Shard in Natasha's Cauldron of Everything for those aforementioned sorcerers is a crystal seeped in the Far Realm essence, and as such has sprouted eyes in the Far Realm. And the Far Realm Shard...
The Far Realm Shard. This is a real object mentioned in the game.
In Natasha's Cauldron of Everything for
okay, it even mentions the source. Cool.
Those aforementioned sorcerers is a crystal seeped in the Far Realm essence, and as such has sprouted eyes and tentacles. And how might this affect your players? And of course, the Great Old One Warlock, where the Warlock character makes a pact with an entity from the Far Realm. And how about other creatures, like the Amethyst Dragon? Amethyst Dragons specifically despise the Far Realm and its corrupting touch. Make one an ally or an enemy seeking to rid the world of your psionically touched players. Adventures are always improved with dragons. Or how about your BBEG? The classic example of BBEG is a Lich, but how about making your Lich an Eldritch Lich, which is found in the Monsters Compendium Volume 1 from D&D Beyond. Or any number of aberrations that might want to access the Far Realm. I could see an Aboleth infused with hubris that thinks if they open the realm of the Far Realm, they'll have some sort of power there. Be terribly, terribly wrong. And your players must stop them. Or how about the classic Elder Evils? These bad boys, if you don't know, border on
that's
gods
creepy.
and have extremely evocative names like the Night Serpent, the Hunger Below, the Worm That Walks. And while these we'll save them for another video. But if you're looking for pre-made official adventures that have some sort of link to the Far Realm that you could spin off into a Far Realm adventure, there's Tales from the Yawning Portal, where within the Doom Vault is a section called the Far Realm Sits that has been warped and influenced by the Far Realm. And in Radiant Citadel, there's a 14th level adventure
Read this,
where
this again.
within the Doom Vault is a section called
the Doom Vault.
The Far Realm Sits that has been warped and influenced by the Far Realm. And in Radiant Citadel, there's a 14th level adventure, Orchids of the Invisible Mountain, where adventurers need to travel to both the Feywild and the Far Realm.
Ooh, I love
And
the
that's what we got.
Feywild.
Short video,
Feywild
not much to go
is
on
cool.
the history and traits of the Far Realm. A footnote is that it does feature in Phandelver and Below, a recent adventure that came out, which I did not know while writing or recording this. So that is something that we can cover in the future and how it touches on the Far Realm. Otherwise, thanks for watching.
That doesn't make me
follow,
want
and
to
subscribe, all that
subscribe.
jazz,
I was gonna subscribe to this person, and now I changed my mind.
We'll see you next
Dang it! You had to ruin it. Oh, there's a video about the Feywild. There's a lot more to learn about the Far Realm, I'm sure. So if you become too powerful in psionic powers, do you morph into some aberration? I also don't like how this person makes good videos, but they always make these clickbaity titles like what they don't tell you. I got far to watch part of this video. The button will sparkle. Wait, what? The horror game you've never played. Yeah, exactly. Alright, let's see what this video is that someone posted.
Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to the Loot Goblin Marketplace. Today's video is a very special one for me because it actually marks the 10-year anniversary of this legendary green text collection. Without further delay, let's jump into the story of
Is this
Krog,
from
the Angry
4chan?
Carpenter, written by the legend himself, Scribe Killjoy. This was a wrap-up for a module we were playing, but I had fun the whole way. I played Krod, the half-orc rogue, with a flail, because in Pathfinder, just about any weapon can get sneak
it's
attack damage.
Pathfinder.
Krod is over 7 feet tall and speaks in the third person whenever he thinks someone is watching. Said to the paladin, "Krod suggests you look other way while shopping." He wasn't dumb, but people never expect the idiot to be running a crime ring. Krod was a good stealth guy, but he shined in intimidation, plus 13 at level 3. This made for great moments as the game went on. The first time he was sneaking around, I fumbled his stealth roll. I looked at the GM. Krod rears up and screams at top of his lungs, "You know see Krod." I critted the roll. According to the GM, I stunned all the goblins there except for one who immediately went back to doing what he was doing previously and desperately tried to pretend I was not there. That was Krod. One of his quotes was, "Only 2 things see Krod, dead things and things that know better than to admit it." So at the end of a module, my group is breaking up a local cult and we got caught in the middle of leadership while trying to steal incriminating documents. So we fight and against all odds defeat the leadership and their mask, Golem. It helped when Krod kneecapped it with a sneak attack with this 2-handed flail. Krod's standing over the cult leader and the guy gives his big bad evil guy last words.
Oh,
Big
that's
bad
what
evil
that
guy.
stands for.
"I should have known you were unbelievers from the start." Krod shrugs. Krod always considers self-militant agnostic. Krod never really know what to believe, hefts Flail. "And he is very frustrated with that." Crunch. Good old Krod. Oh, Krod had a lot of fun in a short set of campaigns. At one point, Krod is hanging with his group as we travel by the river. When the GM notes we are passing another boat, he asks us where we were. I said Krod was in the crow's nest. GM, the boat is too small, there is no crow's nest. Me, he built one. GM, he can't build a crow's nest. Me, I haven't chosen a craft skill yet. Krod is carpenter in free time. He enjoy working with hands in a way that doesn't require he put down tarp. GM, sigh, you have no tools. Me, Krod glares at some spare planks and they know better than to not be a crow's nest. I roll to intimidate the waiter. Crod now has the craft skill of a carpenter. Still, one of my favorite moments was when I had to ad-lib a distraction. The group had infiltrated the earlier mentioned cult and was being processed. Our mage went to sneak off to check on some enchantment or another, and I volunteered to keep their attention. The GM smirks and says, okay, what do you do? Me, Crod tells an entertaining story to distract the acolytes. GM, okay, tell me a story, no roll, tell me the story. Challenge accepted. Me, okay, Crod gets them talking about themselves and eventually says, Crod had lots of jobs before coming here. Bouncer, bodyguard, gigolo. City guard. GM, gigolo. Me, nods. Yup, Crod was kept man for noble lady. She get off on Crod not being fancy. Crod had to quit though. GM, one of the acolytes says, why did you quit? Me, fancy pants suitor get mad at Crod for taking his woman. Challenge Crod to duel. Then Crod kill him. GM, and she kicked you out? Me, no, noble lady get off on that too. Police get real mad though. GM, but duels are illegal. Me, yes, but only if you kill men during the duel. GM, you killed him outside of the duel? Me, fancy pants tell Crod to choose weapon. Crod choose surprise. Okay, but I only have 1 or 2 left, and I'm not sure I can top the duel. The group has collected some incriminating evidence and returned to town. They've spent the last 2 weeks going through the cult boot camp, and now they're in a bar. While the group leader finds the police chief, we order food and Crod finds a wench and proceeds to woo her in the third person. One of our group, a cat girl type thing, is approached by a waitress who proceeds to pull from her seat a live rat, much to the joy of the cat girl. Cat girl, I love the service here. Me, Crod respects.
Wait, what?
One of our
sleeve a live rat. Ugh. I see. Sleeve, like put them in your sleeve, or do you mean like kill them? I assume that just means put. I don't know what that means in this context. Does sleeve mean something other than just put something up your sleeve?
Group, a cat girl type thing, is approached by a waitress.
I'm just glad that there are cat girls.
Rat, much to the joy of the cat girl. Cat girl, I love the service here. Me, Crod respects service, but worry for kitchen. The leader comes back and tells us we need more evidence. We have to sneak back into the cult compound before.
Oh, it means put something in the sleeves of your shirt. Oh, okay. That's not as bad as I worried it might mean. I wondered if that term had a double meaning because I'm an idiot and I don't know a lot of words. Little robot fairy, not know many word. Pull from the sleeve. Ah, pull from the sleeve. I'm an idiot. I thought it meant to, like, I was worried it meant something else.
We are found missing. The group isn't thrilled, especially Crod. Me, lip quiver. But Crod have wench. Crod cannot leave wench. Leader, you've got 20 minutes. Me, Crod looks offended. Crod many things, but Crod gentleman. He need more time than that. Leader, you've got 20 minutes. Me, Crod rolls to intimidate the space-time GM. No, he doesn't.
No, he does.
We roll to intimidate her to finish quicker. Me, Crod never bring work to bedroom. He treat wench like beautiful flower she is when Crod beds her. GM, he thanks you for that. Me, shut up wench, Crod talking.
Oh my god.
Sorry, 40 minutes. Me, Crod rose for acrobatics. GM, like hell. Me, boom, nat 20. GM, god damn it. I haven't been signing my name like an idiot. Ah well, here's Crod's last story. Crod had a merry time at the cult. The first time Crod talks out of line, the GM says, your instructor bops you in the head saying no talking. Me, Crod very slowly turns and glares a hole in the man. Bop, Crod, again. I roll intimidation. 19 plus 13 equals 32. Crod is level 3 at the time. GM, he never makes eye contact with you again. But Crod was not always so lucky. At one point he elected to map out the compound and sneak to the top floor in disguise. He gets up the stairs and a pair of magic doors stop him. GM, the doors are 12 feet tall and engraved with scenes of decadence in many forms from orgies to feasts. Me,
nice.
Crod is struggling to remember why he is against this holy place. Crod forgot to put a lot of points in picklock. He's average at best, and he rolls shit. He gets frustrated after getting hit with an ice blast twice in the face. Me, stupid enchanted portway, why you taunt Crod? GM, the silver doors do not reply. Me, wait, the doors are made of silver? Catgirl, they're silver plated, right? GM, the module just says silver. Me, Okay. Crod rolls to pocket the doors. GM. No. Me. I'm not leaving without these. GM. How are you going to hide 12-foot doors? Me. Crod's wearing robes and he has a skill for holdout or whatever. GM. No. Me. Crod rolls Angry Carpenter on the doors. GM. They're made out of silver. Angry Carpenter only intimidates wood. Me. Damn, that's true. Well, I can't get them open. We'll settle this later. So Crod leaves ejected but not beaten. Multiple sessions later, we clear out the leadership of the cult and the group knows we're done. The GM is moving and this is a nice stopping point, as we're cleaning up the bodies and I remember the accursed doors. Me. Hey wizard, I need your help. Help disenchant the doors. We're stealing these. GM. You won't let this go, will you? Me. No. Crod never leave job half done, wenches half loved, or stuff half stolen. It's a matter of pride at this point. Catgirl. And gambling debts. Me. Crod nods.
Catgirls.
GM. Fine. But you get those doors on a natural 20, and you get them past the guards in town on the same. You know, I don't recall the name of the class that gives himself and teammates luck bonus, but with his help and a poorly worded module, well, Crod retired a happy orc. And that's the story of good old Crod. These stories have so many good moments, and I even see in the comment section every once in a while whenever I have a character that rolls to intimidate for their stealth check. This is the story I think of. This is actually a story I've been waiting to do for a while, but when I started my channel in January and I saw it was so close to the 10-year mark, I thought it'd be perfect to drop it today. Thank you all for stopping by and living this great moment in Dungeons & Dragons history. If you have any classic D&D green text or just stories from Dungeons & Dragons that you want to hear me read, feel free to go on Discord, link to the story in question, and I'm going to try to get to a lot of these classics. I've done stuff like Sir Barrington, now I've done Crod, and I have a lot more coming down the pipeline. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the video so you'll be around for the next one. And farewell for now.
So how do you play a Catgirl? Is that just the tabaxi? That's just the tabaxi, right? This is about the tabaxi. When they were playing a Catgirl, is this the only way to play a Catgirl is a tabaxi? I'm gonna check to see if anyone's coming. Another video? Wow. The Dread Gazebo. The Dread Gazebo. This reminds me of a line from Heavensward, Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, there's more than one video about this one, huh?
So, in the early 70s, Ed...
What on earth is this? What? There's nothing wrong with gooning. Freaking Stoics.
Whitchurch ran...
Freaking Stoics.
So, in the early 70s, Ed Whitchurch ran his game, and one of the participants was Eric Sorensen. Eric plays something like a computer. When he games, he methodically considers each possibility before choosing his preferred option. If given time, he will invariably pick the optimal solution. It has been known to take weeks. He is otherwise, in all respects, a superior gamer. Eric was playing a neutral paladin in Ed's game. He was on some lord's land when the following exchange occurs. Ed, you see a well-groomed garden. In the middle, on a small hill, you see a gazebo.
I see a well-groomed beard.
It's white, Eric. How far away is it? It's about 50 yards. And how big is it? It's about 30 feet across, 15 feet high with a pointed top. I use my sword to detect good on it. It's not good, Eric. It's a gazebo. I call out to it. It won't answer. It's a gazebo. I sheath my sword and draw my bow and arrows. Does it respond in any way? No, Eric. It's a gazebo. I shoot it with my bow. He rolls to hit. What happened? There is now a gazebo with an arrow sticking out of it. Wasn't it wounded? Of course not, Eric. It's a gazebo. That was a +3 arrow. It's a gazebo, Eric. A gazebo. If you really want to try and destroy it, you could chop it with an axe, I suppose, or you could try and burn it. But I don't know why anybody would even try. It's a fucking gazebo. Long pause. He has no axe or fire spells. I run away. No, it's too late. You've awakened the gazebo. It catches you and eats you. Eric reaching for his dice. Maybe I'll roll up a fire-using mage so I can avenge my paladin. At this point, the increasingly amused fellow party members restored a modicum of order by explaining to Eric what a gazebo is. Thus ends the tale of Eric and the dread gazebo. Could have been worse. At least the gazebo wasn't on a grassy knoll. It's my favorite. It's my all-time favorite D&D story.
I don't know. I think gazebos are pretty dangerous.
Nice!
Oh my gosh, I just got nice. Hello, Neutral Trauma. Thanks for the sub. It would appear to be. I'm looking forward to our next session, by the way. Head pats. If we want to, there's an original version. What's the original version? Kind of want to watch some lore videos, though. Into cat girls, huh? You asked something? Oh, I just said that I'm looking forward to our session on Tuesday. The original, oh my gosh. I am swamped with content. What is this? Minecraft is. Oh, okay. I haven't played Minecraft in a while. You have angered Gazebo-chan. It's a little loud.
The following is, unfortunately, based on a true story.
Alright, it's been a while since we last played. Remind me where we are in the campaign. Have you guys figured out who is behind the demonic possessions in the city?
Yeah, it was that one obviously evil guy with the black cape, hideous burn across half his face, and a grudge against the Count.
Okay, and did we take care of that dungeon yet?
I checked the chandelier and spotted the hidden switch to drop the golem into the pit of acid. Come on, that was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, sorry, it's been kind of a chaotic week. Let's see, okay, I see.
Yeah, I believe the murderous gazebos.
After a long trip, you arrived at the manor of Lord, what's-his-face, who put you up for the night, and gave you permission to search his lands for the Amulet of Yendor, which you need to be able to find the lost orb of Phanastocoria. When we left off, you were standing in front of his house.
Okay, remember everyone, just because we're in a calm place doesn't mean that there isn't any danger about. Everybody stay sharp. If we're patient and careful, we'll get through these lands just fine. I'll walk out front and see what I can see. 15. What can I see?
Well, you are in the middle of a large, well-groomed garden with flower beds as far as the eye can see. There's a large manor house off to your right. In front of you, close to the center of the garden, there's a small hill with a gazebo on top. Off in the distance, you can see the foothills of a minor mountain range, the lake of crystal blue water being fed by a large waterfall. In the valley below...
Wait, can we back up a second? You said that there is a gazebo on top of the hill.
Gazebo, oh no.
Yeah.
What color is the gazebo?
It's white, Eric.
How far away is it?
About 50 meters or so.
In English, please.
160 feet, Eric.
All right. How large of a gazebo are we talking here?
It's about 30 feet across and 15 feet high, with a pointed top.
Wow, that's pretty big. Stay back, everyone. I attempt a spot check on the gazebo. 20! Critical success!
It's a gazebo. A pretty standard gazebo. Nothing notable about it.
Okay. I use my sword to detect good on it.
It's not good, Eric. It's a gazebo.
See. I call out to it in an attempt to get its attention.
It doesn't respond. It's a gazebo.
I tell it that I'm a peaceful explorer on a quest. I ask if it knows where I can find the Amulet of Yendor.
Eric, it won't answer. It's a gazebo.
All right then. I'm going to attempt to intimidate the gazebo into responding. What is its size category?
I'm gonna call it huge.
Oh, shoot. It's a 20 penalty to charisma. I'm going to try anyway. All right, that's a 12.
You flail your arms wildly and yell your head off. The gazebo stoically defies you.
Shoot. I thought that I had something there. All right, let's see what I have in my inventory. I'm too far away to use my grappling hook, and I don't want to get any closer. It's too big for my bag of halflings to be effective. I don't have
bag of halflings. Did this person just say bag of halflings?
Use my grappling hook, and I don't want to get any closer. It's too big for my bag of halflings.
Bag of halflings. What the F?
To be effective, I don't have an ignition source for my gunpowder. Same for the seal.
Is this just like a bag that was created by halflings? Does that mean he's got a bag full of halflings? That would be a very large bag.
Seal blubber. I have extra rations. I take out a selection of different foods and toss them in the direction of the gazebo.
This is very normal.
Well, what?
What happens?
Nothing happens.
Okay. I wait for the gazebo to notice the food.
It's a gazebo, Eric. It doesn't notice. Eventually, some birds come and start pecking at the bread you tossed out.
All right, then. I guess there's no way to deal with this thing peaceably. My blowgun, add drag venom to a dart, and blow it at the gazebo.
Well, the giant size offsets the distance, but you're still going to have to roll to hit.
20! Another critical hit.
There is now a gazebo with a poison dart sticking out of it.
How much poison damage is it taking?
It's a gazebo, Eric. I'm pretty sure it's immune to poison damage.
Crap. That stuff was expensive. Very well. I'll put away the blowgun and draw my bow and arrows. Has the gazebo responded to my dart in any way?
No. Eric, it's a gazebo.
Does it react to me drawing my bow?
Of course not.
Aha! That means I still have combat advantage for this attack. I shoot it with my bow. 17, man, I'm getting some great rolls. What happened?
Bravo. There is now a gazebo with a poison dart and an arrow sticking out of it.
But wasn't it wounded at all? In any way?
Of course not, Eric. It's a gazebo.
But that was a +3 arrow with an ice enchantment.
It's a gazebo, Eric. A freaking gazebo. If you really want to try to destroy it, you could try to chop it with an axe, I suppose, or you could try to burn it, or maybe if you were really bold, you could summon a horde of the undead to carry it away and toss it off a cliff, or a giant to smash it into kindling. You could even flip it upside down and use it as a boat, but I don't know why anyone would even try. It's a goddamn gazebo.
Okay, that's a pretty good idea. I would definitely turn that into a boat.
No fire. No spells. I run away.
You know what? Screw it. It's too late. You've awakened the gazebo.
Wait, but...
Nope. You've invoked the wrath of the dread gazebo. It gets up on its 8 spindly wooden legs and begins to chase you across the garden, scuttling over all obstacles like an enormous spider. You try to escape to the manor, but it pounces on top of you, pinning you to the ground. It rolls an 80 to attack and devours you whole. Later, the gazebo will regurgitate you to feed its growing brood of young Belvederes.
Damn it! I knew this place was dangerous. You guys better run before it eats you, too! Maybe I'll make my next character a fire mage so I can avenge myself.
Oh, for the love of God.
Alright, who has the character sheets?
Dungeons and Dragons, everybody.
Eric vs. the Gazebo was directed and produced by Andy Russo and Daniel Marengo for Carleton College's Cinema and Media Studies audio workshop. The script is by Andy Russo and Daniel Marengo and Quinn Radich, and it was adapted from The Tale of Eric and the Dread Gazebo by Richard Aronson, featuring Julian Posniak as Eric Sorensen and Quinn Radich as Ed Whitchurch, his dungeon master, and the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park and one very irate alligator as the Gazebo.
Well, I watched that now. Alright, how do you do the thing?
Yeah? Oh, hi,
Yeah.
everyone. Hello.
I love
My name
this.
is Antonio D'Amico-kun, and this is D&D with a twist. Yeah. The show
I love
is-
this.
Sorry, caught a cold. Anyway,
Go back to the
welcome
old
D&D
voice.
with a twist. I'll take a D&D thing.
Yeah.
Could be a class, could be a race, could
Yeah.
be a monster, or anything really, and give it a
Yeah.
twist. It's like the Tsum Tsum to Dere Dere anime transformation pipeline, but with a neckbeard hobby as a focus, instead of a weepy one. Sentences I write and make myself say for this? I swear to God. So when I think of tabaxis, I think of...
Yeah, looks about right.
Tabaxis are the race for furries and people on Twitter that get into actual fights over cats being better than dogs. So tabaxi are just big cats. Bipedal, uncomfortably tall cats. That's it. They are a race of humanoid felines. In the unending expanse that is the Forgotten Realms lore, they come from Mastica, which sounds like chew in Spanish. I wonder if that's intentional because it's fantasy South America and any Spanish speaker would notice. Anyway, Mastica, which is an XP of South America full of lush jungles. A lot of the inspiration behind
I'm kind of surprised that cat girls come from South America.
the race was specifically panthers as opposed to something like lions, so they're really good at climbing trees, swimming, stealth, running extremely fast, and basically anything related to dexterity. They are upsettingly tall, going from 6 to 7 feet in height. They're said
Oh,
to be
dang.
slender, which is also very upsetting because why deny the people the chance to play a big round cat? And their fur is described
Exactly.
as spotted or striped, going from yellow to brownish red. You can guess how closely players follow those extremely narrow cosmetic parameters. On the mechanic
Indeed.
side of things, tabaxi are extremely strong. Not like they have a high strength score, they just get a lot of good things. If you play tabaxi, your dexterity increases by 2 and your charisma increases by 1. They are honestly such important stats that getting increases in these two could benefit nearly every build. They get dark vision, like everything under the sun in D&D, a speed of 30,
Right?
and a whole
Why does everything get dark vision? It's like the most common exotic, like, attribute. Tieflings get dark vision, Tabaxi get dark vision. Who doesn't get dark vision in this game?
whole bunch of cat-themed features. Let's look at them. Feline agility allows you to just double your speed, essentially letting you take the dash action without taking
Gotta
the dash
go
action.
fast.
This can get downright stupid with the right class. A level 6 Tabaxi monk taking the dash action and the dash bonus action, and then using feline agility can move 180 feet in one turn. 180 feet. cat's claws allows you to have a climb speed of 20
That is a lot of
and
feet.
to use your claws as weapons. This only is good for monks and for flavor, but hey, it's good flavor. Next, cat's talent gives you proficiency in perception and stealth. Perception is the most used skill in D&D, and stealth is extremely important to certain playstyles, so these are two incredible skills to get. And you get an extra language.
That's adorable.
Tabaxis do not get additional
That's
subrace
adorable.
because there are no
I love that
Tabaxi
video.
subraces. But these sure are some strong features. As they stand, Tabaxis are extremely well suited for many classes, but they shine as monks and rogues. Their +1 to charisma doesn't make much sense with the lore, so I'm almost wondering if it's just there so they make amazing swashbucklers and bards. So before we go into more detail about Tabaxi lore, I gotta level with y'all here. If you know anything about how Tabaxi are seen among certain D&D circles, you know that they're sort of a punching bag. Now, I'm all for playful ribbing and poking some good-natured fun at furries, but I've seen some stuff like people banning Tabaxis because they are
What do you see there?
punching bag. Now, I'm all for playful ribbing and poking some good-natured fun at furries.
I mean, look at this
But
video.
I've seen some stuff like people banning Tabaxis because they are cringe and furry bait, and I have one thing to say. You are literally playing pretend around a table.
I know, right? Who are you to call furries cringe? You're playing D&D. The most stereotypical nerd game ever. Let's take it back and be self-aware here.
With other nerds. D&D is the sort of hobby that was the reason why someone would get bullied in an 80s teen comedy. I don't know what high
It's
horse
also
you
really
think you're
cruel.
looking down from at furries and other cringe interests, but it's not high at all. And the horse is also a furry. I've also seen some intellectuals complaining about how Tabaxi ruined 5th edition and that they've just been shoehorned into the game to, like, get some of that sweet furry cash, to which I have to say, Tabaxis were introduced in the 1st edition of D&D in 1981. So if they're here to ruin D&D, they sure are doing a bad job because they've been at it now for 40 years. They have stronger
Oh
connections
my
to
god,
old
that's a
school
long
D&D
time.
than, like, tieflings. So with that out of the way,
Wait, what about
to ruin
tieflings? I
D&D,
talked
they
over
sure
it.
are doing a bad job because they've been at it now for 40 years. They have stronger connections to old school D&D than, like, tieflings. So with that out of the way, I actually think that Tabaxis have some pretty cool lore related to their culture that DMs can use in their campaigns. But I'm not a huge fan of the Forgotten Realms vanilla version of the race. But there are parts of it that have nothing to do with that and are really good. Tabaxis are granted one specific feline trait. These are less racial feats and more quirks of personality. Some Tabaxis are ingenious, some are shifty, some are lazy, and some are incredibly curious. This means that Tabaxi are driven to adventure almost naturally, as they put their curiosity to good use by becoming treasure hunters, explorers, and traveling minstrels. Tabaxi culture is generally not interested in wealth. They are more fixated on accumulating stories. They would go treasure hunting and obtain centuries-old artifacts, but once they had figured out where they came from and their purpose, they would just lose interest and pass it along. Many of them set up shops where they would trade
That's
those
an
items in
adorable
exchange for
cat.
good stories or other mysterious artifacts that they could spend time learning about. I think that this is for once a great example of a racial trait that has to do with the personality of the members of the race that isn't gross. Good job. It literally states that all Tabaxis are different and have different personalities and things that they value. It's not Tabaxis.
What? You're telling me individual people have individual personalities? No way. Unlikely.
Are by nature intelligent, or stupid, or violent, or evil. It's all Tabaxis are inherently different. I think that's neat. But who gave Tabaxis this feline trait? Well, as I said before, there is one Tabaxi deity that is not an XP of a real-world pre-Columbian deity. This deity is the Cat Lord. Other than being the
Adorable.
deity with the coolest name, the Cat Lord is just
You know what? I'm just gonna appreciate that again.
Columbian deity. This deity is the Cat Lord.
I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. Mwah. That's a majestic cat.
Other than being the D&D deity with the coolest name, the Cat Lord is just Great. The Cat Lord is the deity of all cats, from lions to house cats to Tabaxi. The Tabaxi worship him as a creator figure, as in the Cat Lord created the Tabaxi and every single other cat in existence. The thing about the Cat Lord is that he's a neutral figure, neither good nor bad. He just cares about cats and doing cat things. He is said to be indifferent to nearly
understandable. That's basically Julia.
And every single other cat in existence. The thing about the Cat Lord is that he's a neutral figure, neither good nor bad. He just cares about cats and doing cat things.
He just cares about cats and doing cat things. Well, there we go. That's basically Julia.
He is said to be indifferent to nearly everything and everyone except those things and creatures which affect the lives of cats, which is very some people's vibe.
I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty.
You can excuse racism.
Tabaxi have an awesome way of
Oh, that is a
they
real
see
quote.
the Cat Lord as their ruler, the one that gave them their one feline personality trait, but also as a sort of benevolent traveler that wanders the world and all the plays, watching over every cat. He's a trickster deity that defends the interest of cats from a divine, universal perspective. The other thing about the Cat Lord is that we know pretty much nothing about him. He's a very old figure in D&D, dating back to 1st edition, but even then everything we knew was pretty vague. We know that he can appear as any cat, a human, or some sort of hybrid between the two, having aspects of both human and cat. A very interesting tidbit about the Cat Lord given to us by, of all things, those old DC D&D comics is that the position of Cat Lord is inherited. The current Cat Lord chooses an heir, and then that heir becomes the next Cat Lord. And in the comic, they say that the heir.
Oh my god, I need this picture again. So DC Comics made Dungeons and Dragons comics? I didn't know that. Should I read them? Oh, that dude is naked as heck. He naked as heck. Are the DC comics good? That's an important question.
Is that the position of Cat Lord is inherited. The current Cat Lord chooses an heir, and then that heir becomes the next Cat.
I love it. I love it. Some of these pictures here are great. Cat Pope.
Cat Lord. And in the comic, they say that the heir is called the Kitten Lord, which is very funny, and D&D 5e canon now because I said so. All in all, I think the Cat Lord is one of the rare great D&D deities that can have an actual sizable impact in your game. It's baked into the Cat Lord that he travels and tends to things on a human level, so you can very much encounter the Cat Lord as players. Honestly, if you have a Tabaxi player, you'd be passing up a great opportunity if you don't have the Cat Lord as a presence in your campaign in some way. So that's all nice. We've looked at Tabaxi's appearance, mechanics, and lore, and this is all well and good, but what if we gave Tabaxi a new twist?
A twist?
So you want to play a Tabaxi?
Anya? Anya? Anya?
Tabaxis are Neckle people that have a Neckle-like personality trait, yeah? The most...
Man, that cold again. Sorry about
No,
that.
bring her back. Bring her back.
Traits being their curiosity. We know that the Cat Lord cares.
I'm gonna riot. Bring her back. Bring her back. Bring her back. I need to hear that again.
And this is all well and good, but what if we gave Tabaxi a new twist?
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
want to play a Tabaxi?
Yeah? Tabaxis are Neckle people that have a Neckle-like personality trait, yeah? The most...
Man, that cold again. Sorry about that. The most well-known one of these personality traits being their
Bring her back, you coward.
Curiosity. We know that the Cat Lord cares little about anything else other than the interests of cats and those that affect the lives of cats. We also know that the Cat Lord made Tabaxi along with every feline. And we know that the Cat Lord is known to appear as a human, a cat, or a human with characteristics of a cat.
Mikote.
In other words,
a Neko Mimi.
Given all this, the choices of
freaking contraplates. The references in this, I didn't expect to see Natalie win here.
Normally, when I do these twists, I just go with what I believe would be cool or a new perspective on existing aspects of the thing I'm giving a twist to, but I've seen what you do online. I know what you freaks want.
Yeah?
Exactly. And that is based and cat-pilled.
The Felas are people that have been selected by the Cat Lord himself to receive the ultimate blessing from the feline deity. Nobody knows how exactly this selection happens. It is said that the Felas are born to those that have greatly impacted the lives of cats for the better. Them being Felas is a blessing from the Cat Lord himself to thank them for their help. There are also cases where a person that had cared for a feline and defended them from harm has a brush with death. The person miraculously survives it, but they do so having changed into one of the Felas. This being a reminder of how the Cat Lord spared their lives as thanks.
The Felas, huh?
People who were awful to cats and are turned into Felas as a punishment, forced to be what they despise most. Although there are many ways to become one, nowadays most Felas are just born of the union between two Felas parents. In the same way that Tabaxi receive a feline trait from the Cat Lord, the Felas receive feline aspects to their appearance. Most often, it manifests as feline ears like
heck yeah.
the ears of a house cat or a lynx, a feline tail, a cat nose, sharp claw-like nails, whiskers, or a combination of those. Felas believe the more cat traits one has, the more they are favored by the Cat Lord. Although Felas can be born to non-Felas parents, there's a distinct Felas culture in Felas communities. They are intensely self-reliant. It is seen as a great shame for a Felas to depend on anyone but themselves. And Felas children leave the nest extremely early in order to make their own luck in the world.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of cat-like, though. His own drawing's cool.
It's not out of the ordinary to see a Felas teen tending to their own shop or taking on adventuring. This cultural push to become independent can make those that do not understand Felas culture to see them as individualistic or even selfish. But those that form a bond with a Felas quickly understand that they enjoy companionship just as much as anyone else. They just have their own way of showing it. Their need to be self-reliant does not mean that Felas don't help each other. Quite the opposite, in fact. Many cities have wide Felas networks that Felas use to help themselves and other Felas flourish. These are particularly secretive, and non-Felas are rarely, if ever, privy to the comings and goings of a Felas network. Felas share with other Tabaxi their love of stories, but they use them in a different way. Felas culture is shared orally, through songs, rhymes, and parables. That's how Felas history is communicated to the younger generation. This cultural appreciation of song and the way that music is treated as a way to teach history often makes Felas...
So basically, the most normal way to play a Felas is to be a horny Felas bard. Right? Right? You have to do that. That's the only way you're gonna play. That's the only way you can play, really.
Take the path of the bard, becoming traveling minstrels that share Felas tales and songs. They're often hired to play and sing in the drawing rooms of nobles, where their songs are seen as exotic and strange. It is said that Felas' presence in noble houses has given birth to a wide network of Felas bard spies that share coded messages between members through their own version of Thieves' Cant in the form of song. Some of these bard spies even doubling as assassins if the secret organization requires them to be. After all, Felas are just as dexterous as their Tabaxi cousins, and make for incredibly agile fighters. And all this lore is fun and all, but what's the point if you can't play your own cat boy, cat girl, cat person? Well, you know I had to do it to y'all. Yes, the Felas, the alternative race for Tabaxis, is available in the description of this very video for free.
They see.
Fill your D&D with anime cat people. You weeps.
Yeah.
Welcome. Making it to the end of this video was hard, so I'm proud of you. I hope you like the Felas. My goal with them was to do the obvious anime cat people for those that want that sort of thing. But also make them like an actual cool race that weebs and non-weebs would like to play.
Oh my gosh, he's so nice.
Cool lore, a cool appearance, and plenty of customization options.
Yes. We may be able to play D&D now. Instead of just watch videos and vicariously experience it. Yes. Tuesday was supposed to be the day. It was supposed to be. Launch game. Let's see, I'm supposed to join the voice channel of the table. I think. Voice connected. What was that? That was really loud.
Sorry.
What was that sound?
That was my entry. Wait, you're a Dot Hack fan, aren't you?
Ah, I see. Yes.
It's the tone. It's a tone from Liminality.
Ah, it was very loud.
Sorry.
Sugi. Woo, looking forward to more role playing. I need to use the bathroom real quick though. Heck yeah! I was worried we was gonna have to go 2 weeks without playing this game.
I mean to be fair, right? I mean to be fair, people can be. I mean to be fair, things can go crazy, and hey, if Kay was tired, and you know.
No, I understand. I'm just excited to have a chance to play again.
Also, Maria looking adorable in your PFP.
Aw, thanks. Alright, be right back. Wait, are you saying Kay is tired today?
Well, I'm saying to be fair, I said to be fair, things could go crazy and they could be tired, you know?
True. I'll hope for the best, because I miss D&Ding. Be right back. I know, Mark, you're hungry, but you're on a diet. Here, I'll feed you a little early. Okay, Mark? Because I love you. I love you, Mark. I'll feed you a little early. Please don't chew on any cables. Yum, yum, Mark. Yum. I am back.
You gonna respond? Speaking of which, you gonna respond to Neutral Trauma in the chat?
What is about doing it Tuesday? Or something else?
The
I
Tuesday
need to
thing.
know if I should prepare. I said I would like to do so Tuesday. I already answered. Hey. I guess they were AFK when I responded. Yes, Tuesday. Tuesday, please. Oh, this or next week. I would have wanted it this week rather than next week. Why do I like lollies? Well, they're cute and I like flat chests.
So they're like you.
I'm not that flat chested.
Aside from that, I mean.
Well, thank you.
So for now, you want to watch a couple more videos until Kay gets into the VC or says whether or
Yeah,
not.
I guess so.
I still suggest the RuneSmith video on feats, by the way.
I know, I've got a lot of videos to watch, of course. Oh, since I was watching a video about how to play a furry, and we were talking about alternate characters like fairies and halflings and so forth. I really liked one of my old VR chat avatars. I can show it on stream.
You mean that little wolf girl? You mean that little wolf girl Nachi thing?
Yeah, some say she looks like Nanachi. Oh, that's adorable. Brilliant intros.
Well, it depends on what you want to emphasize. I mean, for example, Nachi typically look rabbit-like, so you can use a heron gun, for example.
I think of her as she'd be more like a wolf girl.
So like a reflayer tabaxi or some ad.
I guess. I keep going homebrew, though. I feel like I'm just trying to push things too far away constantly.
As long as the DM says, okay, it's okay. And besides, to answer your question a while ago, the difference between flavor and homebrew is mechanics. Homebrew is adding new custom mechanics to an existing system. Flavor is taking already existing mechanics and just saying it's something else. So, for example...
I know, I'm just trying not to be difficult and not trying to stray too far from established lore.
Again, if the DM says okay, it's okay. Again, in a fantasy world that's steampunk led, I was allowed to play Voltron.
I've noticed.
Kay said it was okay, so it's okay.
Even Neutral Trauma thinks she looks like Nanachi. Do you think she looks like a fulf or a wolf or a fox? Does she look more like a wolf, a fox, or a fulf to y'all?
Wolf, if you ask me.
I see. Do they have wolf people? Aside from just like werewolves?
Well, I guess you can say shifter, but that's more like a wolf. That's more like a werewolf or something like that.
Okay, here's some more details of her. I used to love this avatar. I would love to roleplay as a character that resembles her.
Well, again, maybe you can be a shifter, though that's more of a werewolf than anything.
I just fed you, Mark. Yeah, I would prefer it if she was just essentially born this way, that she's not a shapeshifter. I think this character is really cute. Alright, here's the bottoms of her feet a little bit here. Again, wolves and foxes aren't too dissimilar. I'm starting to wonder if she's a wolf.
I mean, to be fair, it says here shifters are descendants of people who have full or partial lycanthropy, humanoids with a bestial aspect that can't fully change shape, but they can temporarily enhance their animalistic features by entering a state they call shifting. So, it's more like a furry that becomes more furry.
Well, what would a creature who's born looking like this, I mean, not looking like this, but being a baby who turns into, someone who eventually looks like this be?
Let me see here. I mean, again, based on what I'm hearing from... I mean, let me send you the link for Shifter and tell me what you think, alright?
Alright. Onion Shifter.
Send it via DMs. Pull up and tell me what you think.
Mordenkainen presents Monsters of the Multiverse. Werebear, Wellbore.
One of the most recent Splat books. Basically, a rework of all the playable races that weren't in the PHP.
PHP.
PHP Player Handbook, the main book. I'm most talking about the flavor text in the very top in bold, honestly.
Shifters are sometimes called were-touched, as they are descendants of people who contracted full or partial lycanthropy, humans with a bestial aspect. Shifters can't fully change shape, but they can temporarily enhance their animalistic features by entering a state they call shifting.
And more they mean humanoid, as in human-shaped.
Shifters are similar to humans in height and build, but are typically more lithe and flexible. Their facial features have a bestial cast, often with large eyes and pointed ears. Well, she does have large eyes and pointed ears. Let me take a look at that. Yep, she's got large eyes and pointed ears. Most shifters also have prominent canine teeth. Does she have prominent canine teeth? I'm willing to bet she probably does. They grow fur like hair on nearly every part of their bodies. Now that works. While a shifter's appearance might remind an onlooker of an animal, they remain clearly identifiable as shifters, even when at their most feral. Most shifters resemble a particular kind of lycanthrope. Or lycanthropy? Lycanthrope? How's it pronounced?
Lycanthrope.
Lycanthrope. You can choose the kind of lycanthrope in your past. Or you can determine it randomly by rolling on the lycanthrope ancestor table. The table also provides a suggestion for shifting option you might have as a result of your ancestry. Well, if Maria dies in this game, then I might be able to like make a werewolf. I could make her into a werewolf who just normally looks like this.
I would rather not, I'd rather she not die, though.
I would rather that too.
But yeah, this character can possibly be a shifter.
I already have ideas for her backstory as well. I'm imagining her as a fighter who would eventually become a paladin.
I mean, you can start as a paladin.
You can, huh?
Yeah.
I like to imagine the village that she grew up in, at least. She wouldn't know what a paladin is. She just went out in the woods on adventures with a sword and shield. And eventually that could be a thing if she, like, takes part in wider culture.
You would have to talk to Kay about possibly introducing the character, to the paladin class in order to story justify that multi-class, but otherwise, yeah, make sure charisma's at least 13, and yeah, eventually she can multi-class in the paladin. Well, make sure strength and charisma are at least 13.
Some feedback for D&D. What kind of feedback?
I assume feedback to enhance your game with your solo game with Neutrotrauma or some ad.
But I don't know much in the way of details.
Like, give your thoughts in the last session or something. Like anything that can improve. Any thoughts, etc., etc. Just send them a DM if you got any thoughts or something.
Okay. Don't have any active thoughts right now. Mix of fish scale. Wow. Yeah, I'm thinking it's whatever she is there. The Lulumu.
As for size, well, hey, if the DM says okay for you to be small, you can be small.
Good.
I'm saying because rules written, you can only really be medium as a shifter. But again, DM fiat. But again, DM fiat overrides anything. So if the DM says okay for you to be small, you can be small.
So, like, I guess I could make them. So, I was thinking of her being, like, part of a tribe of Fulf people. Like having a tribal, either a tribe of wolf people or a tribe of Fulf people. So I guess if, you can have, like, Hanthropy or, like, Hanthrop for anything, like Neutral mentioned fish. There was probably Hanthrop foxes.
Heck, in one of my games, an Elder Scrolls theme game, a friend of mine had her character become a were-eagle.
Wow.
The DM was all like, "Yeah, cool, I'm ball, let's do this."
Yeah, I have an idea for how a were-shark exists as neutral trauma.
How would that mechanically
playing
work, though?
The blow high?
How would that mechanically work, though? Like as basically a street shark or something like that? Like it's basically one of the street sharks or something like that? I don't know.
But yeah, having to be medium is not great since I like playing small characters.
Again, DM fiat overrides all. So if your DM the DM says you can be small, then cool, you can be small. Plus, to be fair, 5 feet is a bit on the short side, and 5 feet is the minimum to be medium. So,
I guess being 5 feet tall is manageable enough. I would prefer to be something like 4'8" to 4'10". is generally my sweet spot for the kind of characters I want to play.
Well, again, if the DM says you can be small, you can be small.
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 So, are we still on for the game today?
Well, only if Kay is okay. Only if Kay is feeling like it, because again,
she's typing right now, or they're typing right now.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, if Kay is too tired, then we shouldn't force them, all right?
No, I never would. I hope you don't think that I would pressure anyone.
I know you would. I know you wouldn't. I know you would not. I'm just saying.
Okay. Like.
Relax, Lynn. I know you would not. I'm just saying, though. You know.
Yes, I know.
It's what.
Oh my gosh.
It's why I was cool with that DM for the Elder Scrolls game, shelving that for his other main game, because it was going. He was being overwhelmed, preparing for 2 campaigns at once, and we were all like, "Yeah, that's cool. You're meant to have fun with this as well. So go for it."
Elder Scrolls campaign?
Yeah, one of my Tuesdays games was an Elder Scrolls themed game that actually had a custom rule set that adapted 5e Elder Scrolls essentially. I can send you a link. I can send you the PDF if you want.
Sure. You know, I would love it if I could find an excuse to do something like that, but with Sword World, because I love the lore of Sword World. I like the concept of the Barbarous very much. Something. It's canceled. That's okay.
That's fair. So, back to videos then?
Yeah, I guess so. Dang.
If you want, more excuse to play more games or something like that, unless it gets shelved, you can ask Dobbs if he can have in his superhero campaign he started up.
I admit I'm feeling like I crave more D&D. Speaking of that survival session, have I missed any recent sessions? Please call or text me if there's one, because I'm not always on Discord.
There hasn't been a game yet, don't worry.
Oh, okay. Do you know when we're going to have one?
It's whenever Claudia can manage the time, and she is very busy a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Well, again on Tuesday, or heck, apparently today possibly you can have more Neutral Trauma's game, and not to mention
Yeah, maybe.
Unless it's shelved already. You can always ask. You can DM Dobbs and ask him if you want to get into his superhero campaign that he started up.
Yeah, maybe. Not exactly the superhero kind of person.
Well, you got options either way.
Do you crave it now? I mean, I wouldn't mind playing more D&D with you tonight. So I might want to go get Julia and ask if she wants to go to town. Since we do need to go grocery shopping, it might not be too late to go grocery shopping. So I should at least ask her. But, I mean, it's less D&D addiction, more tabletop addiction, but yes. Because I'm also interested in playing Pathfinder.
Well, either way, I'm just saying you do have options, you know?
Mm. I need to find someone to play Sword World with since Julia is no longer interested in the game. She got really burnt out on some of the limitations of the melee classes and melee multi-classing. But I still want to play Sword World. I still really want to play Sword World. She was super she was super hyper fixated on it when she came down, that we were hanging out in bed together and I was being all flirty and she was not having any of it. She's like, yeah, that's cool. Let me talk to you about Sword World. I'm like,
Well, you do have at least one we do have at least one DM in your server, so.
One DM in my server? What do you mean?
You have at least one DM in your server, Neutral Trauma.
I remember also, we went and walked to town. I was not in the mood to listen to her talking about Sword World, and my brain was fading out as she was talking about it. We walked to town in Arkansas, in the town we went to a bar, had a deep dish pizza and some stout beers. And
I'm freaking jelly. I'm on keto.
And all the way from laying in bed together to being at the bar and walking home, she talked about Sword World the entire time.
Yeesh.
She was so hyperfixated. And now she wants nothing to do with it. Were any of those packages mine at all?
Well, maybe you can ask. Maybe we can ask Neutral Trauma if he's willing to take a look at the books and see if he's willing to DM something.
Maybe. I would love to find a Sword World group. It just kind of left me high and dry. Once she got me into the idea of playing it, she got burned out on work and other things, and no longer felt like playing it anymore. And it's Blue Whale Smash, lol. I will be right back. I'm gonna go talk to Julie and ask if she wants to go grocery shopping before it gets too late. Hangry, oh no! Okay, be right back. is getting rowdy from the lack of feeding. Alright, I'm back. We're not going to town today to go grocery shopping then. So
Welcome
I'm
back.
free to thanks. I think it'll play the sounds on your side if I listen to one of those videos, but just fair warning if I do. You may
Fair
want
enough.
to mute me, or I can leave the call. It's up to you.
Whatever works, I don't care. Also, the Quove Nude Trauma, me and Sword World DM directly, yes, so I won't go from 0 to 100, step by step, and I want to have more players first. And Quove, myself, I'd be down if schedules permit.
I watched half of one of those Ed Greenwood videos.
Hello, everybody.
Blue Nail
Crab here with
Smash.
a very short
If you
story
want lore
about
stuff,
how
it's
one
about
player
who better
alone,
than who better than that one of the guys actually created the Forgotten Realms setting.
Hello, everybody. Crit Crab here with a very short story about how one player, alone, mono-e-monoed Xanathar the Beholder into maximum overkill with only one spell. Even more impressive is that it wasn't even a specifically offensive spell. Roll post. Yep, that's me, standing in the yawning portal, magic broom of flying in hand, and with my cleric deciding that the odds looked bad enough to go for the door. Some of my friends stuck in a tough fight in a mini Thunderdome, others in an impossible fight against an aberration with more henchmen than you can shake an arcane focus at. You might be wondering how I got into this situation, and if there is interest, I'll post the story, but this isn't about how I got here, it's about how I got out. You see, when the Beholder boss of the biggest crime syndicate in the city is trying to kill you, and his henchmen outnumber you, there isn't much you can do. Casting haste on Durnan wouldn't do much good, and as soon as he points his eye at me, I'll be useless. The way I saw it, I had two options: run or die. It was my fault we were in this mess, really. I do lean way too much on my polymorph spell in combat, and now I doomed my friends because I don't have a backup from that. And then, I had the plan. It was the craziest and greatest feat of arcane manipulation I had ever attempted up to that point. But it was that or having my mates die because of my fuck-up, and that was not on the table. I yelled at our cleric, "Don't run away yet, I've got a plan, just get our guys away from the Beholder," as I stormed upstairs. I then cast Sending to talk to Durnan as I sped into position. His tavern was going to be wrecked, but hopefully he'd be alive by the end of this. My 25 words to him were something along the lines of, "I'm about to do something drastic, please get to the other side of the tavern as fast as possible." Now, I didn't know this at the time, but as I prepared myself for what would surely go down as my greatest accomplishment or failure, the cleric saved several lives, told our cage fighters to get as far from the side with the Beholder as possible. Then, as Durnan failed to disengage, he tackled him, and then used a 2-person teleport spell to get away from... well, as soon as he did that, I finished casting my polymorph spell. And timing it with a jump, I turned into an adult blue whale. I even found the right spot for this, on top of the clueless half a ball sack of eyes. He didn't even stand a chance. Following calculations done by a team of dwarves who we have contacted for renovations, put the weight I applied on the floors to be above what 10 immovable rods could carry. Must be how I crashed through several above ground levels of the tavern, as well as a couple of hidden cellars that level beneath. Yeah, all in all, a good day of adventuring. You could say I pulled my weight. And post.
Those sound
there
effects,
are two kinds
lol.
of DMs that allow this kind of behavior. The ones that take it in stride, and the ones that secretly plot the player's murder behind the screen. Honestly though, I'm glad, and while I'm sure the DM was lamenting the loss of his epic boss fight,
do you need something?
at least the group got a really cool story out of it. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please do...
What is it?
Just saying, can we even get outside?
What do you mean? Oh, because the boxes. Yeah, we just need to throw them away. Oh, look, there's a spider out there. We allowed a spider in, apparently.
Look at him go. Oh no, that guy's been here for a while.
Have they? I have not noticed that spider. Are they a
Usually-
bad, scary spider with its poisonous?
They usually hang out near your controllers.
Really? Ooh, that could have made me scream if I moved one of my controllers and suddenly a spider leapt out and went on my hand. That would have been really scary.
It's not poisonous.
Oh, okay.
Not in the slightest. I don't know what kind it is, but I know what a poisonous spider looks like. At least the two kinds that live here. And I also know their behavior patterns, and a brown recluse would never just be crawling around like that.
I mean, there's different tiers. And still give you a regular spider can still give you an itchy spot on your hand for several days.
Yeah, well, that's life.
I don't like getting bit by spiders.
And don't get bit.
But yeah, those boxes just need to be taken outside. They're trash, unless you really want to keep them for some reason.
I need to get outside.
Well, do you want me to move them? I can take a break from stream to move them. Sorry about that.
It's
So
fine, it's fine.
Neutral, would you like to play D&D with me tonight then, Neutral? I know that was planned for Tuesday, but we can do it tonight if you like.
Myself, I got bounced out of the way. This is a happy accident because I got to put gas in my car out of the way, so...
Okay, sorry for keeping you. I'm sorry if I bored you
You're
as
fine.
well.
You didn't bore me. You never bore me. Calm down.
Okay.
Hey, Lynn.
Yes, there's not gonna be any mail.
Hey, Lynn.
Bye.
Hugs.
Hugs.
See ya.
See you. So yeah, didn't end up happening, sadly. I can show you like the text exactly in our general. Said, feeling drained now though, and it's 2 hours late. We were apparently helping their parents with something. So that's 2 weeks in a row without them.
Life happens, unfortunately. That's why a lot of online campaigns die. Is your computer, like, running out of resources or something?
Oh, you mean in terms of the sound bar?
Yeah.
No, it's just been doing that for a while. It's just Streamlabs being weird.
I mean, yeah. That's the reason why everyone tells you to stop using slobs.
Yeah. Good reason to move on, though.
You should be like me, and all you do is have no webcam, scuffed mic in the video game.
I thought Raid'll just stop being a streamer.
Return to the glory days, Lynn. Return to the glory days.
No thanks. I would like to respond to Neutral. I've been thinking about that comment for the past 2 minutes now.
Alright.
Thank you for playing your characters. It's written, no problem. Yeah, that doesn't sound very good aligned. Sorry about that, Julie. I love you. Where are you? Oh, you're right there. Again, we can move some things off of that new shelf we got, and if we need it, and we can instead put, some things back upstairs, and if you need more board game room, then I can put some board games in there. Need to prepare. So you're not ready just yet.
I probably will. a lot of these boxes were just empty boxes that like the cards came in, but I wasn't gonna use anymore. And then there's a couple of games on here that I never intended to play again, and if anything, I was gonna sell them.
Well, maybe we should start finding ways to sell things as long as we get a decent value for what we're doing.
I also just kind of hoped I'd find someone who I'd be able to give it to instead. I don't know if anyone on stream is interested in some old board games that are... They're in good condition, but they're not up to my quality. So take that as you will.
Yeah, we could do some sort of giveaway.
Yeah, we could.
I was just bringing as much as I could fit over there. I thought some of them made interesting displays.
Yeah, I mean, it does look nice. But I know especially with the next Dice Throne expansion coming over, we're going to definitely need even more space.
Yes, for sure, which is why we can put some things back.
And then if I ever buy Half Plaid... Lynn, help me.
Okay. How do you want me to help you?
Stop me.
I don't know if I can do that to you. I mean, I can stop you from using my credit card, I suppose. And then I'll make you miserable all day when you can't buy the things you want.
I mean, what I mean is I don't need every board game.
Indeed.
And we still need to play the one you got.
We do. We got
you, we got you Hakey Strike Alternative.
We did do that.
And I am looking forward to seeing that.
I mean, role-playing games and card games alike are tabletop video games, aren't they?
Yeah, neutral, it's nothing serious. I mean, the serious things are being handled at the snail's pace, so don't worry.
Yeah, my Visa card's looking a bit better than it once was.
And by a bit, you mean a lot. It's more than halfway knocked out.
More than halfway?
Wasn't
it was like at 2,200, it's like at 1,800 now.
Oh, I swore it was like at 3K when you started on it.
I don't remember that, maybe.
So that still wouldn't be over halfway, but you've done a lot.
Thanks. I would like to get out of credit card debt. That would be very great for achieving my life goals.
It will happen, one step at a time.
But yeah, if you want to play any Dungeons and Dragons tonight, we sure can. If you're ever interested in being involved in Sword World, I'd be very in your grace. You'd be very in my graces, because I have an unrequited desire to play a homebrew succubus based off of a Lamia.
And if for some reason anyone wants to play Shadowrun, I have like half of the rules memorized, so...
I'm okay with playing Shadowrun with you. I just wish it was possible to play a proper succubus. I don't know if you can play a spirit.
I believe there's rules for playable spirits, if not in 5th edition in 4A.
Okay, that's cool.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I mean, worst case scenario, you can... There's Shadowrun Sega Genesis, yep. There's also Shadowrun Super Nintendo and Shadowrun, what was it, Mega Drive?
There's Shadowrun on the early consoles. There's Shadowrun on the Super Nintendo, yes. On the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis. And there's also one on the Sega CD / Mega CD.
It was the Sega CD. Okay,
Yes.
my bad.
That one is untranslated.
Yeah. But that is the legendary third classic Shadowrun that very few know of. And then, of course, there's the Harebrained Scheme Shadowrun games.
Yes, that's why I said Mega Drive / Genesis, because it's the same system. That's what I implied with what I was saying. Sorry, I should shut up and let you.
You're
I'm sorry for
fine.
interrupting.
I was just saying there's the Harebrained Schemes games, the Arena Shooter on Xbox, and the now defunct Shadowrun Chronicles that was an online-ish game shut down by Catalyst quite a while ago.
That's a shame. That's right. The version of another Cyberpunk video game. Gosh, why does the Sega CD have so many Cyberpunk games? Anyway, yeah. It's got Snatcher. If you want more Cyberpunk, gosh, Cyberpunk is always so gruesome. Snatcher is gruesome. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is gruesome. I'm just really good at being gruesome. Hi, Shiva.
It's the nature of a dystopian future.
Indeed. And they like really shoving the gruesome things in your face too. No, D&D, the session was canceled. Now I'm left with an unrequited desire to play more Maria. It was originally an MSX2 game. I know, that's 2 weeks in a row that it's canceled. I'm not upset at them, obviously. I'm not entitled and no, we have to play. But I am sad. I'm sad that the opportunity was missed. What do you want to play together? Want to play Minecraft together? I noticed you said no when I saw a Minecraft video in my recommendations. I guess we could play what's it called? Not hard mode Terraria. The one where enemies are more challenging. Master, yeah. We could play Master difficulty Terraria, I suppose. I'm gonna watch a video real quick.
Hello everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent. I thought we'd shift and do some videos on the various planes of existence. So starting off with the ones closest to the prime material plane, let's talk about the Feywild. Also known as the Plane of Fairy, it is a land of soft lights and wonder, a place of music and death, a realm of everlasting twilight.
That's where I'm from.
It's an enchanted reflection of the world where arcane energy flows like streams of crystal clear water. The Feywild exists in parallel to the material plane. It's an alternate dimension that occupies the same cosmological space.
The landscape of the Feywild mirrors the Prime material plane, with a few differences. A muddy river on the Prime might be a clear brook in the Feywild, but generally, though, a mountain here means a mountain there. And from what I can tell, it morphs and changes occasionally to match the physical world. So cut down a forest in the Prime material plane, there will be a similar change to the Feywild. It's never a one-to-one transition, but the Feywild exists in tandem to the material plane, and it reflects it in some way. The Feywild was created during the formation of Abir and Terrell. Ancient primordials created the physical world, and the gods took astral essence, mixing it with the tiniest bits of creation to populate the world with mortals. As the world took shape, the primordials found some pieces too vivid and bright and separated.
Wait a minute. That's Pora Elenu. That's Pora Elenu from Terra Online. I recognize that. That's a Popori over there, overlooking Pora Elenu. I have played Terra Online. That is Pora Elenu.
World. They found other pieces too murky and dark and flung them away as well. These discarded bits clustered and merged, forming echoes of the Prime material plane, known as the Feywild and the Shadowfell. As the gods joined in the act of creation, more ripples spread out into the Feywild and Shadowfell, bringing creatures to life in those planes. Now, this is the 4th edition story to explain the Feywild and Shadowfell. The Plane of Fairy was something in older editions, but it was officially called the Feywild in 4th. The Feywild is inhabited by sylvan creatures such as elves, dryads, satyrs, pixies, and sprites. But please note that elves in the Feywild are known as the Eladrin. And other mystical creatures that you might think that also belong here. Unicorns, for example, treants, fairy dragons, etc. There is a darker part of the Feywild, though, that contains creatures of a more malevolent nature. Hags, blights, goblins, ogres, giants, and their cousins, the Fomorians, also exist in the Feywild. Time and memory are different in the Feywild. It's possible for a few days to become a few minutes on the Prime material plane, or a few days in the Feywild might be a few years back on Faerun. Adventurers returning from the Feywild might be surprised to learn that a year-long encounter only took a week in the Prime material plane. Creatures leaving the Feywild have a chance to forget their time there, and experiences are generally fuzzy. Unless you are a Fey creature, but even a Fey creature, your memory might still be a little bit hazy. Because time passes differently than it does in the natural world, some areas are at a standstill. There are parts of the Feywild basking in eternal summer, or frozen in an endless winter. There are areas that are always at dawn, and sections that lie in a forever sunset. The Feywild is perilous to those who do not understand its ways. You probably remember those fairy tales as children, not the Disney ones, not the sugar-coated ones, but the real spooky ones. Children being eaten by witches, wolves devouring grandmothers, giants with their golden harps. It's best to think of the Feywild like that. Navigate under the pretext that everything is out to get you in some way. Don't make deals with strange creatures. A Fey contract has powerful binding magic in it. Even a verbal can-do could lead you on a quest that would take you years to complete. Perhaps as recompense for trespassing in a Fey kingdom, you might be required to milk all the cows in the world in a single day, or be directed to slay 7 immortal giants. Impossible, yet within the logic of the Feywild, heroes can be strangely capable. It's an obvious analogy, but I tend to think of the Feywild as Wonderland. As an outsider, nothing makes sense, but to the locals, Wonderland's obtuse rules are easy to follow. Even the doorway to the Wonderland is exactly how a Feywild portal would work, chasing a talking rabbit in a suit down a hole that magically takes her to another realm. The Eladrin are the high elves of the Feywild. They've lived there since the beginning, carved out a few areas for their kingdoms, and know the Feywild's dangerous.
The Eladrin sound cool. The Eladrin sound cool. Honkonomicon. Sure.
Ways. The Eladrin were a playable race in 4th edition, and there is an option in 5th edition to play them in the Dungeon Master's Guide.
I might like to play an Eladrin sometime. The Eladrin sound cool. The Eladrin sound cool.
elves with the added ability to Fey Step, which is momentarily returning to the Feywild, which in game terms is essentially a short teleport. In fact, I think the ability for 5th edition is known as Misty Step, which is a 30-foot teleport. Now, underneath Faerun is the Underdark, and underneath the Feywild is the Feydark. The Feydark is much more colorful than the Underdark. Misty Step, which is a 30-foot teleport. Now, underneath
30-foot teleport.
Faerun is the Underdark, and underneath the Feywild is the Feydark. The Feydark is much more colorful than the Underdark. There's plenty of water and large multicolored mushrooms. The Fomorians live here along with their Cyclops servants. They are the largest threat to the Eladrin. Fomorians were among the most handsome of races, but their greed drove them on a quest to acquire all the magic of the Feywild. They were defeated by a united Fey front, and in a bit of poetic justice, their bodies were changed to reflect the evil in their hearts, becoming hideously disfigured. Fomorians can pass on their curse to others using a power called Evil Eye. Cursed in this way, creatures are magically twisted and deformed.
Huh? What's up? What is it, Julia? Julia? What happened? You won't tell me? If I mute, will you tell me? Okay, I won't press you any further.
Gaining a glimpse into the pain and malice that has...
What? What were you saying? Okay, I'm gonna hit play again, assuming you're not talking to me anymore.
You were talking to someone else this time.
No, I was talking to you.
Busy trying to clean everything.
Oh, do you want me to come clean? I could end the stream. Oh no! Oh, that's terrible. Are you sure you don't want me to come help? That's pretty important. Okay. Thank you.
On their curse to others using a power...
Where the heck is my tablet?
I don't know where your tablet is. I'm sorry, I don't know the last time I saw your tablet.
It's fine. Looks like a pillow got put on top of it.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to watching this video.
Power called Evil Eye. Cursed in this way, creatures are magically twisted and deformed, gaining a glimpse into the pain and malice that has consumed all Fomorians. The Archfey are powerful magical creatures that rule sections of the Feywild, much like Archdevils rule the Nine Hells.
Oh,
Warlocks
sounds
can make
lovely.
pacts with these creatures, gaining Fey-themed abilities. The area Archfey inhabit seem to mimic their mood and personality. It's like a mood ring the size of a football field that you also live in. Much of the Feywild is divided into seasons or specific times of day. There are numerous Archfey courts, such as the Summer Fey, the Winter Fey, the Gloaming Fey, and others. Tiandra is the Summer Queen, and she lives in Senalice, where it is summer year-round. Wherever the long train of her gossamer gown sweeps the floor, flowers seem to grow and bloom.
Oh, that's
Senalice
lovely.
is built atop enormous trees and hidden from
What's it
casual...
called?
Wherever the long train of her gossamer gown sweeps the floor, flowers seem to grow and bloom. Saint-Lys is built atop enormous trees and hidden from casual view by rising mists. The Prince of Frost is the leader of the Winter Court and lives in the Fortress of Frozen Tears, located in a desolate icy waste, an eternal dark winter. This has not always been the case, but when Prince of Frost's queen died in a Fomorian battle, his heart froze in his chest. His home soon reflected the cold emptiness in his heart. Because the Summer Court did not come to their aid fast enough to prevent the queen's death, the two do not much care for one another. There are many other places in the Feywild, Eladrin cities, Fomorian kingdoms, Drow cities in the Feydark. The Maze of Fathagan is home to the Dryad Queen and her people. The Plains of Echoing Thunder are the stomping grounds of several Centaur tribes. And if you like the Feywild and want more info on it, I recommend the 4th edition book, Heroes of the Feywild. It has a lot of lore, history, adventure ideas, and it's a great resource even if you're not playing 4th edition. I really like the Feywild. I ran an adventure there that lasted almost a year, and it was really fun to mess with my players' sense of logic. I made the Feywild verbally logical, but nonsensical. Kingdoms would pop up overnight due to some greater phase imagination and disappear after a quest was finished. They once had to capture sunshine and figure out a way of placing it in a king's heart to alter his mood to a more joyous one. I had a Halloween event with a small village horrified at the arrival of the Great Pumpkin. My PCs had to dispatch the Great Pumpkin and save the village children who were shape-changing into animals, ghouls.
It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. So what would you like to play together, Shiva? I know I haven't had a chance to play with you in a long time, and that's my fault. Thing is, I just don't know what we would play together. You also said no Minecraft, so... Do you dislike Minecraft, or is it just the fact you don't own the game anymore?
And vegetables. I'm really happy that 5th edition decided to keep the Feywild. It makes for some silly fun. Tune in next week when we discuss the Shadowfell, and please like this video if you enjoyed it, and thanks again for watching, everyone. I will see you in the next video.
Obviously, Terraria's turned into a bit of comfort food. Terraria's turned into a bit of comfort food, so I could play that since it fills a similar, like, self-expression desire. Thing is, I notice you like fighting bosses when I play Terraria. It's like, oh yeah, progression, that exists. I want to build stuff. I love building stuff. Well, Steve, what do you have in mind? Did you miss all of what I was saying? Oh dear. What all did I say? What would you like to play with me? Also, why is it you don't want to play Minecraft? Is it the fact you don't have the game? Or is it the fact that you don't like the game? Are you comfortable playing more Terraria, or are you burned out on Terraria? Because I don't know what to play with you anymore. I do know that playing something like Minecraft together would be fun, just because I like building things. But Terraria fills a similar niche in my heart to self-express. Yeah, that too. They didn't give you the game, so you don't want to buy it again, basically. You could pirate it. You already purchased the game. It would only be fair. It would only be fair considering they stole the game from you you paid for. Like, you paid for Minecraft. You never play with me. I don't play with you, Kyle. What games do you want me to play with you? That's right, I never got around to playing, what's that game from Vanillaware? There's that Vanillaware game.
Dragon's Crown.
Yes, Dragon's Crown. Is that a dreidel? It's a dreidel with a face on it. What is this? Ha ha dreidel. What is that from? Limited emote. Do you need help with anything?
If you know where my stock pot lid is.
Oh, could be where the where we keep the bowls and stuff, the big bowls.
No, it's not there.
Okay.
Wouldn't be asking.
I'll be right back in just a moment. I'm sorry.
What the hell's my Dutch oven?
What? I'll be right back.
My Dutch oven isn't anywhere at all.
It's gonna be some.
It's not work.
I thought we were going to put it over at Julian's house.
Yeah, well, it's taking too long and I don't want the turkey to rot.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Saying another goddamn lid. The hell is going on? Where is my shit? That one's in the sink. Here. This fits. That is the lid. I was thinking of a different. Are you gonna hate me if I said I was remembering a different stock pot I used to own and remembering what that lid. Oh. It's not bad.
I'm not. Why would I be mad at you? I'm not. Okay, so Shiva, if you want to play with me and you don't want to buy or pirate Minecraft, which I don't even know if it's really piracy when you already paid for the game and Microsoft just stole it back from you. And you don't want to buy it again, which is understandable since you already bought and paid for the game once. We can play Terraria. We could play perhaps Pal World. But I don't know what else to play together. I can start up Terraria. And we can play some of that, unless you have an idea for a different game you want to play. I don't either. I bought Minecraft, and either I bought it after the Microsoft account thing, or I transferred it in time. I have no idea how you would do that. But I don't know what to play together. I can go turn on my computer. We can go play a computer game together. Do you have Animal Crossing by any chance? We could play Animal Crossing. Let's see. We played Mario Kart 8 together. Do you have Mario Kart 8? Sorry, I'm just trying to think of things we can play together since you wanted to play a game. I'm looking forward to the turkey, Julia. Shiva? I don't know. I can go plug in the computer. I can go plug in the computer and hope that I can get the, oh, I see. Let's see here. Sure wish my mouse wasn't giving me so much trouble recently. No, Mario, I have seen Toho Mario Kart game, I have. Alright. Let me find the mouse.
It has 100% orange juice.
Yeah, there's 100% orange juice. Would you like to play 100% orange juice? So. Nothing. Oh, here.
I was gonna say you can play Mario Party or Pokemon Stadium with Switch Online.
Yeah, we could if he has Switch Online. I think you need Switch Online Plus to have access to Nintendo 64 games.
You do.
Alright, plugged in the mouse. That's no guarantee it's gonna work because this thing has stopped working very reliably.
Some music a little quietly just for my nerves.
Okay, sure. You don't want to give Microsoft your money again twice, or Mojang your money twice, rather. For Minecraft, we could try playing Vintage Story. I've been meaning to try Vintage Story. Okay, be right back. Sorry, I know I keep doing that. Where's this other one? I want to try that other keyboard. Stop. See if this other keyboard works a bit better. How is it that you got my mouse working again yesterday?
I unplugged it and plugged it back in.
So, huh? Okay. Here it is. Hopefully this works. At least this one has a print screen button. Look at that, it comes with a numpad. Okay. Yeah, I think it's called Gensokyo Drift. There we go. Would you ever like to, Shiva, start a D&D campaign with me? I think you showed interest in doing that before. I'm not interested in the Razer Cortex. Okay, at least the mouse is working well. That's a good thing. Hey, D&D. Heck, I feel that way about tabletop games in general. I do like some things about Sword World more, I must admit. But we could start with that at least. Maybe someday we could move over to doing something at least inspired by Sword World. Something that takes place in Raxia to some degree or another. Freyrin, yeah, I love this show. I love this show. Show rocks. I enjoyed the heck out of Sousou no Freyrin. Yeah, if you want to woof, that looks creepy. This is always recommend to me games. Like, I have no interest in Call of Duty. So why are they advertising me Call of Duty? Okay, look, Succubus, I know. But I bet that's a not safe for work game. They can't stream. Plenty of Succubus hentai games, not so many chances to play a Succubus in other types of games.
There's a safe for work version of the Succubus Metroidvania.
Oh yeah, the one that's based on Castlevania. Oh gosh, Terraria's not even installed on this computer. Also, gosh, I need to get some free space. Sometime I need to stop being lazy and install one of those hard drives, either one of those SATA drives I need to install in this computer, because this thing is constantly low on space. Oh, what's this? Is this a screenshot of mine? I think it is. Cool. But yeah, unless there's something you want to play other than You Are a Perfect Lolicon. I love that. Obviously a good friend. What a person of taste. But yeah, you want to play some Terraria? Let's play some Terraria. If you want to play something else, let me know. I don't know what else to play that we've played together. Okay, I'm listed as online, so you should be able to join. I wish we could play Minecraft together, but that's okay. Minecraft or Vintage Story, either one would be cool. Is the audio just slow? Yeah, I just turned it low. Or I thought I did. It's just not that loud. Yes, of course you can voice call with me. Start voice call. Something wrong?
Something I've been putting off for a long time.
Ah.
Which is, I know that I need to reorganize the cards and codex.
Ah. Okay.
If these off since relevant for your games, I wonder if I can.
Shiva, I can't hear you.
Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay. I sorry. I didn't realize I had something stuck.
Is everything gonna be okay, or do I need to stop?
Huh?
Oh, Julia's just doesn't seem to be in a great mood.
I'm fine, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Hey,
Yeah?
is it possible we can end up playing something like Minecraft sometime?
I mean, I just don't know how to pirate it, is the thing.
Yeah.
If there's a way for me to figure out how to do that,
Basically,
I
you're
would be
just
down to
like
try it.
not wanting to buy the game twice.
I'm not paying for the game again. I paid for it once. I'm not paying again for a game I've already bought.
I understand that. I'm just sad because I thought it would be fun to
Especially
play that with
considering
you.
what, it's like $20? I forgot how much it is now.
I think it's something like $20.
It's different for like Stardew. I bought twice, right? Because Stardew, it's like $10 or $5.
Hey
Maybe
Kyle,
that-
I'm gonna talk about something unconscionable on stream. Do you know of a way to play Minecraft Online via a pirated version at all that me and Shiva could play together? Because he deserves to have the game he paid for. It's not quote-unquote true piracy when you're just getting the game back you paid for and you are denied access to. Like, he gave Mojang his money. And I would like to be able to play this with him, but they literally have denied him his digital purchase, forcing him to have to pay them again. And that's kind of wrong. He deserves to be able to play the game he paid for.
Hey Lynn, can I have a minute? I'm good. I had to grab something real quick from downstairs. I realized I forgot it in the car.
Be worse for
Thank you.
wear.
Yeah, Shiva could join our game. That would be fun. I would love to play Minecraft with you, Kyle. If you're okay with that. It's a boat I missed out on of the world's most famous video game for many, many years.